Welcome everyone to the Faded Connections Path of Exile Community Podcast, episode number 43. It's been a little bit silent for a while because there was not that much to talk about, and also Balor and I had to sort out some things in our real lives. But I am proud to announce on my part that I finally got the apartment that I was looking for all these months, and that we're going to be moving in on in February. So we'll be pursuing the goal of a regular schedule until then again. Or like at some point at that point we'll be probably back on the horse. And just wanted to get that out. Today we're joined by no other than GhazzyTV to talk all about the schedule for the December events in Path of Exile. As you may have heard, this December Path of Exile gets GGG organized events again, and it's not one, it's not two, no, we get 3 events. It's like Christmas, guys, and it's at the same time. It's like, I don't know whether it's a coincidence.
It's basically 2, but we'll get to
that. Yeah, that's true. But 2 is better than 1, which is better than none. And the last time we got an event was
2 years ago.
Synthesis flashback, exactly. That's like 2 years ago, almost, or like 2 years minus 1 league cycle. Are you guys hyped?
Long time.
Yeah. I mean, I need this. I think most of us are burnt out on Heist and just wants to have some fun.
I literally just barely played PoE at all for like the last month. I did the Badger League and it was excellent. Really enjoyed that. Definitely getting involved in that next time. And then I just left again. I left for like 3 weeks, played other games. Came back and did the Badger League, and then it was over, and I was like, I'm not going back into Heist. Just straight back into another game.
Yeah, I've been delving around with RimWorld, played some Dota, did all I could to stay away from World of Warcraft. Like, literally been struggling to stay away. Managed to stay away. And now I don't have any choice. Like, now it's either WoW or something, and now this event is going to save me, so it's all right.
Yeah. This is. Are you going in hardcore?
I haven't decided. I'm not sure what
you
I'll
played
do.
the Gauntlet in hardcore, right? I mean, that was a purely HCSSF event, the Gauntlet organized by Zizaran. But you, like, against all my expectations, you actually made a character in there and you played it all the way until the bitter end.
Like I used to race many years ago. I guess I was pretty decent. Like, I got some really good times on some of the acts when I did my best a long time ago. And so I kind of miss playing hardcore sometimes. With the Gauntlet race, I was like, I wasn't really sure if I was going to participate or not. And then I was like, yeah, I'll make my schedule work for it. And then I did. And it was a lot of fun, but I decided to go in with extremely suboptimal builds to see how far I could push the generic builds that works in normal leagues without these extreme mods. And it worked out better than I thought till I scratched my nose and died.
Yeah, I'm going hardcore solo self-found, so it'll be like, it's been over a year since I've played hardcore now.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
But I'm like, I can't do the mayhem in softcore. Like, that's not. Plus, I want a demi. Like, I'm here to fuck spiders. I'm gonna win. So I gotta go into hardcore solo self-found. So in we go. I did a practice run like today and yesterday. 2 practice runs of cold dot slinger, except done the right way. There's a whole bunch of cold dot slinger guides around that are all garbage, but that's fine. We're doing it with way more damage than that. I found so far, I haven't even had any close calls at all. Exiles, while leveling, if you encounter them, die like they're white mobs. Like, there's nothing. Like, they just melt.
Where's the difference to like a regular build?
You have a build guide up for it, Balor?
Pardon?
Do you have a build guide up for it?
Oh god, no! I've been making it up as I go. I know about the link. I know what links and whatnot I'm using, but I don't have the tree planned yet. I'm just kind of making the tree up as I go. But I'm using Creeping Frost, Wintertide brand, Vortex, Cold Snap, and Frostbolt. And so it'll all be pretty much all automated. So we sling everything except the Vortex and the Cold Snap. Everything else gets slung. You put Vortex on left click, so it just happens automatically on the Frostbolts that are getting slung. So it's like full screen coverage. And then the Cold Snap and Vortex both go into a 6-link, so it's 2 5-links. And the only thing I ever manually cast is Cold Snap whenever there's like a boss or a single target thing. And so there's like 5 cold damage over time skills all going at the same time, and all on just basically a 1-button build, right?
The Cold Snap is on the same 6-link as what was it?
As Vortex.
And you put your Bone Chill setup on there, Bone Chill Hypothermia.
Oh no! I put Bone
Where
Chill
do you put Bone
Hypothermia
Chill?
on
Creeping Frost or what?
I haven't decided whether it should go on Creeping Frost or on the brand yet, the Wintertide brand. I don't know which one. It'll be on one of those two.
I don't know. It feels like to me it makes sense to have like to have it on the Cold Snap and have the Cold Snap as like the single target debuff ability that you use. But
well, I want it down all the time.
You should be able to have like higher chill effectiveness from the Vortex, right?
Well, no, because they'll both be on 5 links. And one of my slung skills will also be on a 5-link. So, because it's going to be in a helmet, a Rhyme Gaze, preferably. So it's going one of them will already be in a 5-link anyway. And so it will be the one that has Hypothermia Bone Chill, because it might as well be on something that gets slung automatically on everything all the time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, especially for Mayhem.
And especially since, like, for raw damage output, Hypothermia Bone Chill isn't the best links, except for the fact that it buffs all the other damage as well, right?
Yeah,
if you were just using one single ability, and that was it, you wouldn't use Hypothermia Bone Chill. But because they're so good, and there's so many, it's a huge damage increase to have, because you've got so many different skills all doing damage over time. So I don't want it on my absolute biggest dick damage button, because that's like nerfing my biggest dick damage button. Whereas I want it laid down automatically, even though it'll be,
makes sense.
It'll only be 85% effective as if I put it on my real skill, but then my real biggest damaging hitting ability will get real supports to make up for it. It seems better.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, especially with Mayhem, with all the big dick things, you're not gonna have, if you get like last lab room with 20 animation bosses. Then again, you're not gonna go in there. You're gonna, get out of there and do it next hour. But still,
I will say, Path of Math's build guide I really liked. It was quite good. I definitely took inspiration from it, but it's also softcore, and it wouldn't keep me alive. But for a softcore variant, it's there. You won't die very often. You'll only die occasionally, which is fine for softcore. And so it's going to be faster than my version. My version is going to be hardcore solo self-found, so it's a little bit slower. Pretty much the same amount of damage, just a little bit slower to move around, but a little bit tankier to make up for it.
Makes sense. Yeah, cold damage over time is going to be really, really good for those things where you may occasionally get swarmed by like a perfect shitstorm of rogue exiles or invasion bosses or something like that. And just being able to inherently reduce action speed of enemies by up to 30%, is it? When you scale it to the max, like you can get up to 200% increased effective chill.
I think mine will only end up being something like 25%.
Yeah, always ended up. I played a lot of self-cast cold damage over time last league, like both Low Life and Mind Over Matter as league start. And I always ended up at like 25, 26, 27%.
Yeah. Which is fine still. Like, I'm fine with that. It's also another reason I want to make sure it's on one of the automated abilities and not something I have to cast. Because I want it to be out all the time, doing Hypothermia Bone Chill on invasion bosses and exiles and shit that just show up. Yeah.
That makes
I've also been toying around with using Power Siphon for my Curse on Hit, which I really love, except that now I don't have frenzy charges, so I don't know how much I love it anymore. I'm like, much better curse coverage, but I'm missing 3 frenzy charges, and that
You'll
really
have
slows
frenzy
me down.
charges from Cold Snap. Enemies die in Cold Snap. You'll always have frenzy charges.
Yeah,
You
but
don't
then
have
I
them on
have to
single
cast
target.
Cold Snap. It's not slung.
Well, Wall Cold Snap.
Well,
I mean, with a build like that, you just pop Wall Cold Snap, and then you normally just run through everything, and it dies without you slinging anything.
Yeah.
But then again, I
that's
always
true.
prefer to go with like Frenzy with Peacock instead. So you get everything, whereas you can't get any Frenzy on hit without Influence Chest Piece, for example, or Blood Rage.
Yeah.
If you use Power Staff, and I prefer Power Staff myself, the
Ooh.
visuals and
I could
culling and
Blood
all that.
Rage.
But I mean, if you're able to squeeze in like BR or get a Frenzy on hit chest, I mean, obviously with Soul Stuff, that's going to be a bit hard,
Yeah.
but there are some solutions to it. But getting both type of charges, but then again, you also have to value.
Well, I
the
don't need
power
power charges at
dot
all.
build.
That's the thing. Power charges don't do anything. They're
Exactly.
power
worthless.
charges are good for keeping up LEA overload, especially
Sure,
because
but you keep it
you
up
might be
100%
using
of the
control.
time anyway.
You might be using
Yeah.
controlled destruction. I don't know.
Yeah,
You have so
you've
many
got,
hits anyways.
yeah, like you've got Frenzy that you hit with, and then Cold Snap has a hit, Vortex has a hit, Frostbolt's out. The only cold damage over time skill that doesn't have a hit component is Wintertide Brand. Everything else has its own hit.
Yeah.
So even
I don't know. In
Even
my
with a pretty
experience,
low
that's
crit
not
chance,
100% uptime with like 5% crit. And like I said, controlled destruction maybe on some of them. I don't know. I'm not sure actually what's the best links. It might not be on there.
I mean, if you're only comparing PS versus Frenzy Charge for the sake of having easier cursing, ultimately, like we know we need like what 150, 200,000 Shaper DPS at best to clear super high tier maps smoothly. That's not much you need. I mean, cursing mobs is a little bit whatever. I'd personally rather
but it's
have
an
like a
occultist.
mark curse for bosses.
It's an
instead.
occultist though. So cursing is huge. You lose the pop and you lose malediction.
Yeah.
So that's like huge defensive and huge clear speed you lose if you don't have good curse coverage.
Trigger wand smack in like a storm rat or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I can't use brands because I'm using all the cold dot Wintertide brands, one of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucked.
I'm thinking curse on hit ring, corrupt a bunch of gloves, like give me a curse somehow that's automated.
I mean, the good thing about Mayhem League is that like I'm the kind of person that I love doing endgame bosses. Like the first thing I do in a league release is get myself up to AA8 Series, and then I'm chasing down Shaper and Uber Elder. I really don't care what league it is; those are my main priorities, and then I start fiddling with the league. A league like Mayhem, endgame bosses are so useless because you get so much from farming like 20 invasions or 20, all the beyonds and Harbinger, all of those shits. It's just so much better to just do that instead. So going for this approach of chasing down endgame bosses feels useless. So you want to have more clearer speed-oriented builds that can handle endgame map bosses. But that's it. You just want them to clear it as the best they can. And at that point, then is
it basically anything over 500,000 DPS is almost wasted because you're not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Needs, like at 500,000 DPS, you just melt exiles and invasion bosses and map bosses and everything. So anything past like that's my like upper limit is like if I reach 500,000 DPS, drop DPS, pick up speed and defenses. Like go quicker, don't die. Like you don't need any more than that. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, that's also rather interesting, especially when it comes to comparing DPS with hit builds versus dot builds, for example. Like, I think we talk a lot about this, especially for the sake of in-game bosses, where it's like, when you have a dot build, you should always have 100% damage uptime. As soon as the target is in your screen, you should have damage on it, and that damage will always be there. Whereas a hit build, when you have to dodge something, your DPS goes from X DPS down to 0 because you're dodging. Whereas a dot DPS build, it's like you place your shit and then, something shoots at you. You can dodge that. You still have all your damage out. It's still doing it. So that's what you can do, like Uber Elder and whatnot. With like, I think we reached the point where 600,000 or 700,000 Shaper DPS would be enough to completely destroy it. But you only really need about 300,000 because that's enough to kill the spawns before they drop the physical damage pool. So 300,000 Shaper DPS on a dot build is all you need to actually handle Uber Elder. And that's like doable with almost anything, as long as you know how to handle the fight, obviously. But
you can almost do that on 4 links on most things.
Yeah, whereas a hit build, it's like, okay, you actually have to have a little bit more, or those fights going to be completely obnoxious to deal with.
Yeah, I
But
love the
I can
dog play
only
style.
assume Cat's in solo self-found hardcore for Mayhem. It's
Absolutely.
like
I mean, I'm
he
solo
plays.
self on hardcore for any of those. I mean, honestly, I'd love to. I always am tempted to be like, oh, we're gonna do like a community bonding event, but since we can't do private leagues here, I'll probably only do that during an actual league because I wouldn't want to go into the Wild West actual trade league. Like that shit's that there's just too much trade fuckery there. But
It's voided as well, so the market's going to be very interesting to follow. That's one of the I think I'll decide later tonight if I'm going to go self-found or hardcore trade. I'm not sure yet.
That's maybe a good thing to talk about in regards to choice, like because it is voided, yeah, and there's also no heist, right? For both Mayhem and Endless Stealth, well, Endless Stealth is kind of obvious, but especially for Mayhem, we won't have heist.
There's no fucking anything in Endless Stealth.
It's also true.
We'll get to that after. But
yeah, we made an entire
nothing.
list. Yeah, we brainstormed, and it's like after an hour, people were still coming up with things. It's like, oh wait, we also don't have that. Oh yeah, right.
Yep. It's ridiculous.
But
here's the way I would look at it between Trade League and solo self-found. If you're playing the event to have fun and just casually play the event, you should probably go to a Trade League. You'll be able to make some weird shit. You'll be able to get rid of good items that you get that you don't want and replace them with good stuff you do want. You'll be able to trade, essentially, and you'll have more fun. It'll be easier to level. You'll be able to level more alt characters to get more chances at the draw, stuff like that.
Exactly. You'll be if you're playing to enter the random draws, then you should be playing a trade league. If you're not playing for the demis.
But if you want a demi, you are actually mentally ill if you think you're winning a demi without a group of 20 people behind you. Telling you right now, there is a single group of people that are going to take 70 to 80% of the demis that exist in softcore trade. And it'll be just that group. And then there'll be a second group of 10 to 20 people that will take the remaining 30%. There are no demis for you on softcore trade. There are zero. None. I'm telling you, they are all taken right now from experienced, well-versed group play people who have very large groups. They are all gone. If you want a demi, you have to go solo self-found. That is your only option.
Go solo self-found softcore, though.
Yes, that's definitely an option. Solo self-found, softcore or hardcore is where you'll have a chance at getting a demi. You don't have to be in hardcore, but solo self-found is where you go if you want a demi. If you just want to play to have fun and get random draws, you can go to the trade leagues. It's fine. But yeah, demis are gone. They're counted for. They're not up for grabs. You don't. Unless you're somebody who's like, I've got 20 people, then.
It used to be the same problem in the hardcore trade as well, because before everyone went into solo self-found, by the way, main focus, the race scene in PoE was going hardcore trade league, and it was the same thing there. They played hardcore, but they had a group of people trading for them and whatnot. I mean, hell, when I'm playing normal leagues, in the past, we've literally had, even in softcore trade, I've had a guy doing all the trades for me. So when I've been playing, I just shipped everything over to one person that sells everything, and then I can just focus on playing the game and crafting and having fun. And nowadays, I'm playing with Kaka for the most part, so him and I were kind of splitting up our sales stuff. So whoever's on, when we have big ticket items, whoever's online when the other one goes off, he takes everything, sells it, and then vice versa.
Yeah,
because it's just a bit more effective play that way. But now with the focus moved over to solo self-found, like hardcore trade is a bit better. But it also meant that the population in those leagues have drastically reduced.
Yeah,
but the demis have always been occupied or secured by a couple of groups that are fighting over it, and they're getting better and better at the way they're doing it. So it's pretty crazy, actually.
Whereas, like, I'm going, so that was almost the driving factor between going solo self-found hardcore for me, was I want to win a demi. Listen, I've got 3 third place demis, and I'm fucking cursed to only have third place demis, and I want a second or first. And if I have to, I'll take 4th or 5th. I don't actually care that just if I get another 3rd place demi, I'm going to lose my fucking shit. I swear. It's been so long since we've had an event, and every event I've done, I've got 3rd place in. I can't win them. I just want to not get 3rd.
Well, all you have to do is play the shittiest fucking ascendancy. I got a 2nd place demi from playing Elementalist when Elementalist was the worst ascendancy, and I died at 96, I think. And I got a 2nd place demi from having a 96 Elementalist.
That's impressive. I think the best placement I ever had on one of those demis was like a rank 5 Ascendant, when Ascendant was like probably the worst, like end of 2017.
Yep. I've got 3, but I've got 3 3rd place ones, but I never pick the like bottom of the barrel ascendancies. I don't know. I want to compete. Like I'm going Occultist this time, which isn't going to be the number 1, but for sure it's going to be like in the top 10 of ascendancies.
Yeah.
Like Occultist isn't.
Bloom is just too good in a league like this.
Like it's definitely not number 1, but Assassin's going to win probably.
I think so. I think a lot of people play the Blade Blast Poisons approach or BB Poison's going to be pretty fucking popular.
Yeah, I think Assassin is going to be like right up there in the winning. So I'm not picking the number 1 class, but Occultist isn't down the bottom of the barrel either. Like it's people are going to want it.
I'm curious though, like since you really want these demis, I've stopped caring about standard many years ago. Gave away everything, most
I don't give a
currency,
shit about
mirror
standard.
service items, all these things. Just gave it away to people that will actually use them. But why would you care about the demis? What's the focus behind it?
Compensation. So I can have them.
You can have them. Okay.
Yeah. So I can point at them and go, look, see, I won that. Why would you want any? Yeah, ETB.
It's like a trophy that you can put on your wall or something like that. I don't know. Especially because they have this custom flavor text that states for which ascendancy and which rank they were won.
Yeah, like
if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't care.
It's never getting pulled out of the stash. They show up every league at the end of my stash. My demis show up. I go, I don't know, I'm going to put more there. It's a trophy cabinet. Right? Like that's all it is.
What I want to get glad in WoW? The mount. And a title.
Right, but mounts and titles, you've already got a mount. Titles don't do anything. The mount doesn't do anything different from the mount you've already got. It's the same thing.
I mean, the title is like, it's showing off.
But yeah, it's just showing off.
Right?
That's all it is.
Whereas a demigod, you have to log over to Standard League to show it.
What? No, you don't.
Frame.
Only in the first 3 weeks of the league.
Yeah.
The first 3 weeks, you don't have remove only tabs from race rewards in new leagues. But like after 3 weeks cooldown, you can pull them out in any league. You just haven't seen them because you hide all the remove only tabs now with the new feature.
Oh, that's true.
Or because you pulled them all out in standard because you didn't care about them. But if you just don't take them out of the remove only tab, they show up in every league forever. If I log into Heist right now or Heist Hardcore right now, all my demis will be at the end of my stash tab.
That's true, though. That's true.
Also, someone in chat mentioned skin transfers, and I'm telling you right now, at some point, we will be able to buy permanent skin transfers. Excuse me. Where I pick an item, I put a skin transfer on it, and the item just disappears and appears in my MTX tab. And that's when I want alt art stuff and demi rewards. Because I will just have skins that other people don't have and can't get.
And just to be very clear here, because the question was, can you skin transfer without losing? And I don't know whether the answer nope was to that question, but no skin transfer loses the original item. You can always reclaim the original item by shift-clicking on the item that it's been skin transferred onto, and you'll get it back. It's never lost unless you delete the item that it's on. I'm not even sure you can delete items that have a skin on them.
No, but you can delete the character that's wearing the item and it doesn't stop you.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. I skinned a Headhunter onto a Headhunter on a character on standard and then deleted two Headhunters together by deleting the character.
I've seen the argument, or I've heard the argument a lot of times that PGGG stops making money if they start selling those. I don't think so. I don't think their main money is from skin transfer. I think a little, very, very small fraction of the player base
It's
actually
not,
buys
and you
these
charge us
consumable
for
skin
it, right?
transfers. And a permanent skin transfer would also cost like upwards of 10 times as much as a
you'd be
as a
you
single
might look at
use one.
100 points instead of 6.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Like whatever. But then it becomes a permanent MTX in your thing. Right, that's totally worth. I would do that. I would immediately MTX my demis.
I think over my lifetime in Path of Exile, I have not spent 100 points on skin transfers. I think I'm at like 16 skin transfers or something, so that's like 96 points. So if I had bought, like I played since 2014, if I actually had bought like the permanent skin transfers, if they were a thing, I'd have skin transfer, I'd have skinified at least 5 or 6 items by now, and that would be like 6-fold the income. So they earn the most money from supported packs is where the money comes from, and stash tabs is where a lot of people spend their points on, I would say, or the majority, right? But cosmetics are really, really niche. I think actually it's hard to know without having any numbers to back it up, but I don't think that many people play or buy cosmetics. Like most people buy points either as pure point purchases or pack point purchases to save some points or to get some extra value out of the purchase. And then they use those points to buy account features. And then whatever is left over gets maybe put into some MTX when they're on sale or something like that to complement stuff. And then there's like, I think there's like a very, very small fraction of the player base that goes on all out on buying MTX. But yeah, these demigods authority have never been handed out before. We had like the demigods chest pieces and helmets and all that stuff before, but we never had this golden blade. So it's like a new 2D art. I'm pretty sure we'll have an awesome 3D art as well. Haven't they even showed footage of it?
They did, yeah.
And it's never seen before. And even though it's like a completely useless item, it's just a super nice to have thing that's very, very limited.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, there's 5 per ascendancy, so that's like 5 times, that's like 95 given out per league. So it's like roughly 400 per event, right?
Yep.
Per PC, on PC, let's say. So it's like 1,200 in total.
I mean, it's not that useless. It's you and nearby allies at 30% increased rarity. That's Animate Guardian weapon. 2 of those for a modified character. That's 60 rarity. That's pretty big.
I mean, I tell you right now, mine's never coming out of the stash. So,
well, you can buy it from someone else,
so I might not even get one. Like, I could just die.
Exactly. Back to the ascendancy choices. Why did you go occultist over Trickster? A lot of people would go Trickster. Do you think Trickster is more competition?
No, occultist is just better.
Just for cold dot or in general?
Just for cold dot. I really like Trickster in general, but for a cold dot slinger, occultist is so much better. It's more damage and it's better defensively. The only thing Trickster has on it for a cold dot is Trickster will be faster. You'll move around quicker, but you're squishier and you do less damage.
And you have problems with porcupines with profit bloom for swords as well.
But like Frigid Wake on its own is nearly as good for cold dot as the entire Trickster ascendancy. It's ridiculous.
No, I completely agree with that. I'm a big occultist fan.
It also has freeze and chill immunity.
Yeah, on top of freeze and chill immunity, 20 cold damage over time multiplier, 10% reduced damage from all enemies, and then you like micro freeze even bosses, even like Shaper and Cirrus and everything. You
it's only a chance.
Like
it's not super reliable.
Yeah, but it happens a lot.
It does happen a lot. It's just like it can easily not happen for 20 seconds in a row. That's what I mean.
Yeah, but like that's super nice. And then between that and Malediction, that's just straight up 20% less damage you take. Like that's Like between Frigid Wake and Malediction, you just straight up take 20% less damage. Like everything deals 20% less damage.
Yeah. No, they're
Like
both enemies deal 10% less damage. Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to go
So
crazy,
that's
it's backing
huge.
up the spider as well, and you like reduce their damage.
Isn't that even more because they're both less Sorry, I just please finish your thought, Ghazzy.
They're additive.
They're additive multipliers,
Yep.
but since you can stack them up so much, you can get so many defensive mechanisms out of it. I think a lot of people play Trickster because it's just vastly superior when it comes to trade leagues, because you can whatever the Occultist is sorting can be fixed with gear. As soon as you go into self-found approaches, I think Occultist just skyrockets in efficiency. Also for lower budget approaches, personally at least.
Yeah,
that's a nice way of putting it.
I think when we say Trickster is better with gear, I probably would agree, but I'm looking at 150x worth of gear, which is more gear than most people spend, more money than most people spend in an entire league. I would say for 99% of people playing Occultist, it's just a better ascendancy for Cold Dot. Like it just is. Unless you really know what you're doing, you can spend 100x on your gear. Then Trickster's going to pull way in front. And the more you spend, the more in front it'll get. It scales way better. But yeah, in a solo self-found environment, I'm never going to get that 100x worth of gear. I can do that in trade, sure. But I'm not doing that in solo self-found. I'm not even good at solo self-found.
I think a lot of people have to also keep in mind that the player base is very, very focused in softcore trade. And then we have these deviations with a small portion playing hardcore trade, and then the rest is just doing self-found, and an even smaller percent to doing private leagues.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that since that is the case, I think a lot of people are basically focusing on Trickster, because people that make, like, if I make a build guide for which I have a Cold Occultist Vortex build, not slinging, then people would do that as an Occultist, and they'd have good success with it, because most people that go looks up guides, they are not going to have 100, 200 Exaltas, because the people that have the possibility and skills to do that, they don't follow build guides. They look at build guide and then do their own shit out of it, because they have experience for it.
You look at 3 or 4 build guides to get an idea of what people are doing, and then you just go about your business.
Exactly. And I think that a lot of people are then looking at these top builds, like, oh, look at this guy. That guy makes a build guide. And like, for example, a Cold Dot build, and they might be like, "Oh, I made a Trickster high body version. It's doing a bazillion DPS, and this is a low body version." And they don't really take the time to compare the low body version with what other low body versions could be, because the low body version can be vastly superior on other builds. If you know that you're not going to have 200x to spend on a character, you might be better off with another version of the build.
Yeah. Ooh.
I have to mute myself periodically because there's people refurbishing the rooms upstairs, and it's a little bit of a transitional period here in the house right now. But back to the topic of the ascendancies, it's just I don't want to play Cold Dot again. I also thought about Cold Dot, possibly a slinger, possibly self-cast, but I just played so much, I just want to play something different, so I don't burn myself out, because I'm likely looking at it for a league start next time again, because it's just so safe and solo self-found hardcore.
Yep.
I was thinking about Poison BV as well, but like you said, Assassin is going to be highly contested. Since I have barely any experience on Assassin, I'm afraid that I'll die early on, like 3 days early on in the Atlas progression to some thing that I just don't expect. I don't know, some sort of boss fight where I'm not 100% on top of my game, especially since I come from a league where I mostly played Cold Dot, so everything was like 25% slower.
Yep.
I'm actually, now that we're talking about it, I might actually look into doing a Cold Slinger build myself. But if I do, I'd have to go hardcore solo self-found. Yep. And then I'll be competing with Balor.
That's all right. You can have second place.
Well, isn't it better if I take the third space just for you?
Well, look, if I'm going to get third, I will stop and let you overtake me. I'm not having another third place, I'm telling you. I'm not doing it. I will throw and take a fourth place if I can't make it to 2. I'm not doing it.
I mean, maybe I can help out here and try to make sure that you get a third place one. That would actually be really fun. That gives me a purpose for the league to deliberately fuck with you.
So the more I'm thinking about it, I think I'll just do Pathfinder. I won't compete with any of you guys. Pathfinder is a really good solo self-found hardcore ascendancy.
What's
It's gonna be a little bit
Frostblades.
Toxic Rain and Caustic Arrow and shit work really well in Pathfinder.
Yeah, Toxic Rain and Caustic Arrow would be the leveling tools, but then when we go into maps and I got my Plague Bearer leveled and my BV gem leveled and maybe already found a Val BV that I leveled on the way, then I transition into that.
Yep.
I think.
What's your
was
take
the question?
on the Frostblades? Because I mean, the league is going to be heavily focused on clearing. You just need the build to be able to kill, Guardian bosses. That's literally the only thing you need the build to do. And you don't really care about killing a minnow boss anyways, because Shaper's not really worth it. But when it comes to the actual generic way of playing it, you will be killing maps. You're going to be clearing. So Frostbite should be pretty fucking solid. So what's your take on it?
I was just distracted by the question chat with Pathfinder squishy leveling, but sorry, can you repeat the essence? I listened to it, but I lost it. Repeat the essence of what you said again.
Since you only really need a build that can kill in-game bosses, and you don't care about the super hard bosses like the minnow bosses, you don't really care about killing them because you don't really care about Shaper anyways.
Yeah, Frostblades, exactly. That's what you're asking. So I haven't played Frostblades since I think 2018. I like Frostblades, and I should probably revisit it at some point, but I'd probably prefer to do something that I have a little bit more experience with in the end. Like, it's the same when it comes to heavily contested ascendancies versus non-contested ascendancies. I'd rather play something that I have experience on, that I feel comfortable with, where I know the progression, and where I know if I don't find A, I can find B. If I don't get this here, then I can rely on that there, rather than doing something where a lot of the options are not immediately obvious to me. Like, I mean, with a little bit of research, probably, but I just don't like the name lock playstyle. Even though Frostblades gives you a lot of range, I feel like it might be a little bit sketchy in situations where you don't instantly kill stuff like invasion bosses and rogue exiles. I'm not saying it can't be done, but I'm not confident that I can pull it off properly. But yeah, I mean, like you said, clear focus. That's basically also my answer to the question with the heavily level focused for Poison BV. I mean, first of all, Pathfinder Poison BV is not that much more level focused or plus level focused as Assassin. Obviously, Assassin gets a lot more damage out of its kit for Poison, but since we're mainly focusing on clearing stuff and not on single targeting stuff down, I think Pathfinder is fine, especially because Pathfinder can be really zoomy and also gets a little bit of.
So I think Frostblades would be a mistake for anyone chasing a demi, and the reason for that is target limits. It can only hit so many things, and with invasion bosses and strong boxes and shit like that, yeah,
I haven't had a problem with that. Also, you get Herald of Ice Shadow explosions.
Than average. The density is so much higher than average, and it's not a density the way that we would like it normally that can just Herald of Ice chain forever. It's density with extra invasion bosses and their adds, which are way tankier than white mobs. Herald of Ash isn't going to prolift through things like that. Herald of Ice isn't going to prolift through things like that. They would in, like, if I put together a fire conversion Blade Vortex Assassin that's worth 80x and has woke gems in it and stuff, yeah, I'm still going to prolift the whole screen. But in your league start scenario, that's not going to happen. You're not going to get those chains out of Herald of Ice or Herald of Ash or even an Explode Chest or anything like that. These mobs are much tankier than the normal white mobs we prolift screens with. So because of that, I don't like target-limited abilities. So things like Frostblades.
Frostblades isn't very target limited. I mean, I'd have to look into target limitations, but it's not super limited. And also, explosion kind of stuff is going to be. I mean, you'll just kite the invasion bosses some of which spawn with packs anyway, right? They don't spawn just by themselves, but they have white mobs spawn with them, and you'll spawn them mostly in maps that you will probably put some juice in form of, extra monsters, extra mods, pack size, stuff like that. I don't find it super problematic. I see your point, and it's there for leveling, definitely. But I'm thinking if you want to make it work, it works, especially on ascendancies that work well with it. I think you could even get a demi with it, but I mean, it's gonna be harder than with other things.
Yeah, I just think target limited things like that, even when, like, I get Frostblades is target limited. You hit one target, and then that spreads, what is it, 5 or 7 projectiles, something like that.
They change per level, yeah, but I think it's up to 7.
But let's say it's 7. That's 8 per hit. You could ancestral call it, then that becomes 24 per hit or something.
So 3 times 7 would be 21. But assuming
21?
that there's enough targets to hit.
Well, no, 24, because you get the initial hit and then 7 projectiles. So you can hit 24 targets per hit.
Oh,
now,
yeah, okay.
That sounds like a lot.
The initial hits.
But when you up the density to the point where you have 250 mobs on your screen at all times, 24 per isn't enough for me. Whereas something like Blade Vortex itself, Cold Snap, anything that is an area hit, Caustic Arrow, Toxic Rain, anything like that that's everything in this area. It doesn't matter if you put 200 mobs in that area or 2 mobs in that area, you still kill them.
Except for Ball Lightning, right? Ball Lightning has like a limitation, or it has a limitation how many times it can hit single target.
How many times it can tick single targets, yeah.
Yep.
But I don't like target limited abilities for these kind of events. Like there's a lot of, you can overcome something like that. You could make a Frostblades build into a Deadeye so it gets chain, and then it gets an extra projectile, and then you can use chain in it, and now you've gone from 21 to like 115 mobs you can hit per. But for the level of investment you had to put into that, you could have just done something that wasn't target limited and didn't care, right? And so
maybe something that had actual single target DPS without gem swapping, and without like 10 tons of investment in forms of 2 threshold jewels, which are mandatory for the build.
Well, it kind of makes sense with the whole approach, but like because of the density, things like there are other things that becomes extremely good to consider for any builds, and that's like Viscous Leash. I mean, holy shit, the effects! You kill 2 or 3.
Like you just did 1,000. You just did 1,000 like in the first room of every map. Like that's
And then that shit's gonna go crazy, and it's pretty good as well because once you're stacking up charges, you kill a couple packs, and the effects from Viscous Leash is gonna kill everything, and then you just have that extra bonuses from the Viscous Leash. I think Viscous Leash will be one of the best spells you can use in the game.
And Viscous Leash effects, those things are not target limited. The projectile one pierces all. The other ones are like area hits that like spin. Like they're not target limited. They don't care if there's 200 extra mobs on the screen. They'll just keep hitting everything in this area. And like, that's great. That's what I want out of a build for this. Even things like Frostbolt and Freezing Pulse. Like, you could make up just a Freezing Pulse Assassin that was self-cast, and it would still go well. Like, it just needs to not have a target limit. That's my thing. It needs to not have a target limit to be good for racing for a demi in this event.
No. I kind of agree. Like, because of the density, like, removing target limitation from whatever build you're playing is going to be solid. I mean, that's not saying that these builds will not work. I think they will definitely work. It's just that kind of build would be favorable.
Yeah. It really only matters if you're after a demi, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to be the first 5 in your class. You are not going to be able to make it. Even in a hardcore environment, you're probably not going to make it with a target limited ability. Even the people who are playing melee stuff aren't going to be playing target melee stuff. They're going to be playing Ground Slam and Earthquake and Reave and Lacerate and like those things that are just like, this area dies. Right?
Well, I mean, thinking about like the difficulty and whatnot of the Mayhem League, because there's going to be some terrible situations like Invasion, and you can do Uber Lab, and as you get to the last room, it's like, well, we now have a goddamn fucking pack of invasions at the last room.
It doesn't work like
wrong.
that anymore, right? They patched that out, though.
Yeah, I think they changed that. Azaro's rooms themselves don't have the event thing in them anymore. Or at least they didn't the last time there was mayhem. And I was also equally disappointed when I walked into the Azaro room and was like, oh, there's nothing here. It's just Azaro on his own with nothing. Like, how disappointing.
No. I mean, we've all played the Gauntlet race, and I think that anyone who did the Gauntlet race is going to have such a good time leveling in the Mayhem League. I don't care if there's 20 XLs. But there's a few other things that I think people need to realize as well with what you can do. And with the Mayhem in terms of tips and tricks, it's something I'll be talking a lot about today or later today. And the most prominent one is Tabula Rasa. It's a league where you can farm Tabula so fucking easy.
Well, assuming some RNG that you get Rogue Exiles somewhere in Act 1.
Yeah, Rogue Exiles or Invasion on Tidal Island. Either one of them. If it's not there on Tidal Island, when we start, continue on without your Tabula. At some point,
think Tidal Island has been patched out. There was no Mayhem mods in Tidal Island last time either.
We have Pool, we have Mudflats, we have Tidal Island. Those are the three main spots that you really want to go. If
it's not in one of those first three zones when we first start, we just move on. We keep leveling.
Yeah.
And the next time the hour ticks over, check those three zones again. As soon as it's Exiles or Invasion bosses, you're just farmed there. It has never in a Mayhem League taken me more than 12 to 15 minutes.
I wouldn't wait an hour. I would just if Chamber of Sins has it, I would reset farm Chamber of Sins.
But it's too high item.
Way too high. Not worth the time.
The thing is,
you're not specifically going for Tabula, right? If there's Rogue Exiles, there's also jewelry, rare belts,
boots, I mean, there's always
all that, like all the items. It's worth at least 1 or 2 reset farms. Maybe, like you said, not for farming a Tabula specifically, but it's not unlikely that you'll get one there. Not that unlikely. Yeah, there is a couple more items in the pool that can drop, but it's still fairly low level. I mean, what's Chamber of Sins at level 50?
I mean, but it's not just a couple though.
Yeah, like
you go from having I 2 chess pieces available to 28 chess pieces available by reaching the ledge.
I mean,
so it rolls unique chest, and you've got there's a 1 in 2 chance of it being a Tabula in the first 3 zones, or like a 1 in 28 chance of it being a Tabula at the fucking ledge. I don't think it's 28. I think it's like 21 or something. But there's a lot. Is the point. And so it's just not worth it outside of those first 3 zones. I
think like the best way to do it is like I don't like Invasion. I think it's too risky, and I like the full set drops from like Exiles. You get 20 Exiles in any of those areas. Yeah. That's 20 chess pieces, and if it procs unique, it's what Bramblejack or Tabula, right? I don't think there is anything.
Or Simple Robe. I think there's another Simple Robe. There's 3.
So there's 3 pieces, and you kill 20 Exiles. And even if you get to like level 40, 50 before you go in and do it, you should be able to clear that super fast. No problems in risking your character and getting a Tabula when you're 40, rather than farming those fucking Tabula cards in Blood Aqueduct at level 55 to 70. I mean,
yeah,
it's a big difference. It's huge.
And like, there's definitely a case to be made for resetting a zone later on once or twice that's got Exiles in it. If you're like jewelry shit, or you're like feeling a bit undergeared, and you're like, some of these pieces need replacing. Like there's an argument to be made there to reset that zone once or twice, and kill another 40, 60 Exiles to get geared. But I wouldn't be spending any time after those first 3 zones intentionally trying to farm a Tabula and resetting the zone. It's just. There's just so many things that can drop there that are a waste. And like if you do it in the first 3 zones, it's not just a Tabula. You're really limited on everything. You get the Wanderlust. You can get all these other things that are just really good gold rims and stuff that are really good for leveling, but exist right there at the level 1 pool. And the trick is to do it in as low of a level as possible, so that all the other uniques are ruled out of the pool.
And even if you do it and you get these beautiful pieces, you're then going to be in a position where if you then die, if you're playing Hardcore Soul Silver, for example, it's going to happen. We're going to die eventually. That farm sequence that
I'm not dying.
Like that farm sequence, like you might get 2 gold rooms, you might get a couple life sprigs or something. Wanderlust that you stop using. And I mean, your new character will already have a set of leveling pieces, including jewelries that you might find a really good one if you have enough wisdoms to identify most of them. And then you're in that situation, and that's going to make leveling so much easier when you put on the next character. Give me time to change the battery headsets.
The battery in his headset?
Yeah, that's great. I want batteries that I can change, because this has the batteries built in, and I always have to plug it when it depletes, but it's great to be able to change them. Yeah.
I just plug a cable in and it becomes like a corded headset for an hour.
Oh yeah, I could do that as well, but the cable is awkwardly short. Awfully short? Awkwardly? Both awfully awkwardly short.
Are we talking about batteries?
Well, headsets and batteries. Yeah.
This
You
headset?
prompted the discussion.
I've always had issues with wireless headsets because I can't find one that's comfortable, but these are fucking amazing. The battery is supposed to last between 8 and 10 hours. And a couple of days ago, I had a 30-hour stream. It accidentally happened. And I didn't change. I was playing actively, right? I changed my battery after 14 hours the first set. And I didn't change the battery on the second run. And that's 16-hour stream. Never changed it.
Dude, I didn't change the battery in a 26-hour stream on the start of Gauntlet, and I mean, they didn't have to charge. And in the end of the stream, I realized, dude, we didn't have to charge the headset. I was like, 26 hours? How? How? Because like on the package specifications, I think it's supposed to do up to like 20 something hours, but not 26. And like I never had 26 hours out of one headphone charge. I don't know how it happened. The only thing I can explain is it was relatively low volume, and I didn't have the LEDs on, because you can have like LED illumination on these, like that. So I always have to make sure to switch that off, because that takes like 40% of the battery lifetime.
Wait, no. Are Ghazzy and me using the same headset?
I have the Arctis Pro.
Right. Isn't that what I'm fucking using? Hang on. It's a SteelSeries 7 something.
Arctis 7
it doesn't say anything on it.
Arctis 7 is the one I tried on before I decided to get the Pro. It's basically the same headset. It's just the Pro has a slightly better microphone and a wider range of frequencies to pick up. But you can charge yours with a cable, right? Yeah, I cannot do that on the Pro. I have to change the actual battery.
Yeah. I have very limited options because I have a preamp.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I want wireless, it has to also have a line in. And there's like 4 options total for wireless headsets that also have line ins. It's like there's very few options.
Dude, don't even talk about preamps. I've actually ordered upgrades for my microphone setup. Everything. I got all the pieces lying right next to me. I've had them for 6 months. I'm waiting for the preamp that's still not in stock because of Corona. 6 months ago, I ordered it.
The Go XLRs are fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
So going back into the Mayhem event, so definitely in Act 1, want to look out for one of the first zones if they have Rogue Exiles. And if they have Rogue Exiles, you want to reset farm them for low-level uniques, because a lot of things that don't have level requirements, such as Tabula, Gold Rim, Wanderlust, that are really, really great for leveling, will be able to drop there, and there won't be a big diluted pool of uniques that you can drop. Just to conclude again what we were talking about, just to be sure, Balor, Karui Ward has an item level requirement of 5. You can't drop that in those early zones, or can you?
You can in the Mudflats.
In the Mudflats, but not in Tidal.
Tidal is a level 2 zone, so the Rogue Exile is a level 4. But if it happens to be in Mudflats if it's Mudflats or Tidal Island, it's fine. If it's the first zone out of town that I can't remember the name of.
Oh, you mean if it's the coast?
Karui Ward, yeah.
Okay,
but if
in
it's
Tidal you can
drop. Tidal Island, then Karui Ward can drop.
Okay,
because it's their +2 level for the zone, and since those are level 3 zones, the Rogue Exiles are level 5, and then they can drop Karui Wards.
Anything else to look out for with the 20 Rogue Exile mods? Like, my idea is right now would be great is we go through the 6 different mods, or 7, and no 6, and talk about like specifics. What we want to talk about with Rogue Exiles. Is there anything that you need to look out
for? First zone
for?
in Act 3, the one before town.
Yeah.
Is where you unlock, not unlock, but it's where a certain role tier for both life and elemental resistances exists.
Okay.
And it's
so we're
a
talking
very
about
much
City of
higher
Sign.
tier. And so if you happen to hit the first zone, the City of Sarn in Act 3, and you hit Rogue Exiles, you should farm that zone 3 or 4 times to get all the nice jewelry pieces that are really, and that will set you up until
next 4 or 5
Act 8 nearly.
I mean, you can keep in mind those mayhem mods as well. I'd say you if you get decent jewelry, it's like, let's say you get 3 or 4 pieces for the better life and rest, and you're kind of covered till at least Act 5, maybe Act 6.
Well, no, because City of Sun is the first zone where you can get 60 flat life, and 35 on the resistances. So you can actually get disgustingly good rings, like all the way to map rings there. You just never see them because you very rarely get jewelry there at all. And if you do, you get 1. But if it happens to be Rogue Exiles, you will get 2 rings.
Well, isn't that
20 times over?
Here? So that should go up to like almost 50 or something, life-wise.
It's the third tier down, tier 3. It's where you unlock tier 3. So whatever tier 3 goes to is the answer. I don't remember the exact number.
Oh,
what is tier 3 life?
It's 23 cap rest and it's 49 on the HP.
Right, 49. All right. But either way, they're very, very good. Now, it's not necessarily worth going back to do it, but if you happen to hit City of Sarn and that's got Rogue Exiles, you should run that zone a few times. That's the next place where I would suggest stopping. It's also the first place that you can get a few unique rings that are particularly useful. Pyre, Call of the Brotherhood, and there's a third one I can't remember the name of.
Kikazaru?
Maybe Kikazaru?
I would assume it's Kikazaru.
There was 3 where it was a really good place to find them. Yeah, it's also one of the earliest zones you can get Bones of Allure. It's also where unique jewels start to unlock, that you can drop them, including your threshold jewels will start dropping there as well.
Requires level 20, so I don't think that's...
I don't think Thief's Torment unlocks there, although it can drop there, but I'm pretty sure it can drop before that. But the point is, it's also a super nice, quick linear zone as well. Yeah. So even things that unlock just slightly before them. If that happens to hit Rogue Exiles when you hit it, you would be very remiss to not farm that zone a few times.
Dream Fragments you probably meant. Dream Frags, Le Herb.
That's the one. Dream Fragment. Thank you. That is the one. Dream Fragment is the third one. But yeah, so there's a lot of benefits to hitting Rogue Exiles there if you hit it. It's not necessarily worth checking, next hour I'm going to go back 2 acts to see. No. But
if you really want the Dream Frags, yeah, it is. Like, Dream Frags is required in, like, low life or ECI builds. Yep.
But it's like it comes down to, if you have a build, especially in Soul Found Leagues, like, no matter what, you want to farm that tabula. That's the first 3 linear areas. That's Tidal Island, Mudflats, and Fetid Pool. And
Coast or whatever it is.
Yeah, I tend to avoid Coast unless I didn't get Excels and I really want to get it. Then I'll do Coast as well. It's a matter of personal preference, I guess. But I mean, it comes down to, like, if your build wants to use a Dream Fragment, for example, you want to get the first proper linear area and you want to check that for Rogue Exiles. And you want to do that every hour if that item is going to be used for your build for the end game.
That's it. If Dream Fragment is a core part of your build, yeah, I'm going to go back and check that zone.
Exactly.
But yeah, so things like that are worth knowing.
What are the Rogue Exiles that you're particularly scared of early on when you're, like, as opposed to farming where you go back potentially over leveled and you save farming a zone, especially from an SSF hardcore point, which Rogue Exiles while progressing would you be wary of?
None of them.
None of them?
I'm not scared of Rogue Exiles.
The chaos damage one would be scary, but since you're going to be overleveled, he's not going to do much damage to you.
Yeah, assuming if you're not overleveled, like when you're pushing ahead, like you're overleveled while you're farming, repeatedly farming the zone. No. But there's also
you can't not be overleveled in Mayhem.
You think?
Yeah. We're always going to be overleveled in Mayhem.
Yeah, you can't help it. If you kill literally only in a line in front of you, you will still be 2 or 3 levels over the zone at all times.
Yeah, it's always worth a stop.
Yeah, there's so many extra stuff.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, it literally can't.
Like the only areas where you deliberately try to skip as much as possible is invasion.
Yeah, anytime I hit invasion, I generally tend to just like speed through as quick as possible. I'm like, I kill as much as I can to keep using Quicksilvers and just keep moving. Like I don't want to stop here.
You stay away from us. Oh, there's a shrapnel bear that's going to show up.
All right. So the last mayhem event that happened, the queue bugged, and it let some people in about 2.5 minutes before the hour where it was supposed to start. And it only let about 100 people in. And I was one of those people. And I hit the coast or whatever it is, the one zone out of town, like 6 seconds before the minute changed and the hour changed.
Yeah.
And there was 20 strong boxes in my zone. And 100,000 other people came through 1 minute later, and it was invasion bosses in zone 1. And I was sitting there opening boxes and getting loot. It's fantastic.
It's going to be amazing as well. Actually, I'm not sure how if you'd be willing to stop for strong boxes for the Tabata farm. I don't think so. I'd rather do it the
Probably
next
not.
It's going to be amazing.
Strong boxes are going to be so good for map progression.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are you going to keep currency on you at all times to at least like transmute boxes when you find the way?
Maps later, I'll like if you're doing trade, you're bringing in you're sextanting that shit. I mean,
right? Right, I'm 100% sextanting those.
You're rolling for the strongbox sextant?
Even in
yes,
yeah.
That's the only thing you give a shit about later. I think that I'll be just focusing on sextant rolling strongboxes, and I will move away any others. Like if I get them, and then if there's any map that has the strongboxes, I will move the sextants there to go crazy on those.
Yeah. You just roll every single thing, every single stone that you have. You just roll all of them. You keep the strongbox one separate, and as soon as a good map you want to run hits strongboxes, you use all of those. And if there's nothing, then you use up the rest of them. You go, oh, I'm going to have to run regular maps for an hour. You just use up the rest of them. And then you re-roll, and anytime you get a strongbox one, you put that aside. And then the next time there's a strongbox zone, you just run all of them again. It's an insane sextant. It's so good.
That's going to be good. It's really fun.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Mayhem has always been a very memorable league for a lot of people. It's been such a long time since we had one, so I was very happy when they announced that they're going to run a Mayhem event.
Yeah. But yeah, the TLDR is Rogue Exiles are OP as fuck while leveling. Strong boxes are the best zones that exist when mapping.
Yeah.
Strong boxes will give you the best mapping experience and the most XP per hour.
I think breaches are going to be insane when you get that random delirium prop, or if you manage to unlock the delirium on the map device, because breaches freeze the delirium timer.
Though.
Yeah, when you have a delirium mirror
and delirium would be really good.
You go from breach to breach, and the timer never runs out, basically.
Breach would be a million times better if they let me open as many of them at the time as I wanted.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, I get bored. When there's 5 breaches on my screen and I can only open one of them at a time, I get bored and leave. Like, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm going to launch a new map. I'm done here.
I think that Delirium with Breach can be absolutely amazing, though. Like, if you get Delirium mirror on a Breach map, the problem with that is it has to line up, so you would always try to prioritize. If you're pushing for damage, for example, you're always prioritizing the strong boxes. If there's a strongbox area, you go there, and if there's not a strongbox area in any of the maps you want to run, then you'd have to go for a secondary option. You always stay away from invasion. So then it would either be Harbingers or breaches, and I think that in those cases, I would personally go for the breaches and pray I get Delirium Mirror proc or pop.
I would go for Harbinger. I'll go for Harbinger 9 out of 10 times. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be focusing Harbingers pretty consistently. Yeah. If I get a Headhunter, I win. I win the game. I don't just get first
how do
in my
Harbingers
class,
help
I
with
get
Headhunters?
first. Ancient Orbs.
Yeah, you get Ancient Orbs and the Harbingers.
Well, right,
20 Harbingers in a map? You'll be walking out of every map with 3 or 4 Ancient Orbs. Every map.
Yeah.
Like if you can farm those quickly,
and Harbinger Orbs are also
could get
great.
You 25 to 30 Ancient Orbs. How many Ancient Orbs do you need to get a Headhunter? Really? Like how many? Has anyone done enough of them to work out an average?
Well, I blew it up. By my calculation, I think I've used 800 or 900 Ancient Orbs without success.
Yeah, but it only needs one in the end.
Yeah, you only need to be successful once. Look, I'm just saying. Like, my build will change. I'm telling you, if I get a Headhunter, the moment the Headhunter happens, my build changes because Cold Dot is garbage for Headhunter. We're not doing that. No. I will be leveling a Blade Vortex in my off weapons. Just in case. Because if a Headhunter happens, I'm obviously going to be a self-cursed Blade Vortex occultist, right?
Poison?
No, just self-cursed temp chains. Like a
fake hunter build, and then
yeah,
but with hunter.
Yeah, like if I get a Headhunter, I'm just going to become a Blade Vortex occultist that curses themselves with temp chains. Like that's. Those gloves are common. I'll have 12 pairs of those gloves on day one. Like, I don't...
Another thing to mention is what Vicious619 in the chat is saying as well. Harbinger can be amazing for experience as well when you get the beachheads out of it. But the question would then be, you'd have to compare beachheads. Harbinger will take some time because they take a while before they spawn the shit, and they take a while before they spawn the shit, then the loot happens in fragments, right? So I mean, in that situation, you're gonna be doing that to get the better experience in the beachheads, but the strong boxes I think is still superior for the sake of experience.
Yeah. Strong boxes have to be number one
choice just to get the Ancient Orbs to get that Headhunter, and once you get the Headhunter, it's like, yeah, let's win the game.
Strong boxes are definitely number one. Like I don't think anyone's questioning strong box number one. It's just where do you want to go after that? Yeah. And there's an argument for breach. There's even an argument for invasion. If your build screams through invasion and you're not scared of them at all, invasion is decent. They all come with big pack. Most of them come with big packs of mobs around them.
Yeah.
Like I could see an argument for invasion if you're in a position where you don't feel threatened by invasion mobs at all. Then
I think most builds have no.
I can see that argument.
My problem with invasion is that depending on the map you run, and there's like a separate boss room, and they're all in there, you're fucked. I mean, take cemetery. You go in for growth call. It's like,
listen,
hello.
What you do with that is you just pay attention when you're doing the map, and if you find that you've cleared the whole map and you're about to enter the boss room and you've killed a total of 3 invasion mobs, you just don't go into the boss room. Like if your map is clear and there's only the boss room left and you've killed 3 invasion bosses, you just leave. But you're like, I'm not going in there.
I mean, most maps, like if you take cemetery as an example, it's a big old fucking square, right? With some deviations. Yep. Normally, you take a lap around it, and then you take a lap inside, and then you're done. So you will. That means that you have to think about the routing or the pathing you're choosing to take to make up for that decision. So that you take your lap, and then your inside lap will have to end with being close towards the boss room, so that you're able to go there.
All right. So here's how I do it. Right. In this exact instance with cemetery, this is how my brain works. I do the same thing you would expect to do, right? Run to the outside from the portal, and then you run a lap around. That's what you would normally do. In this instance, we want to make sure the boss ends up at the end. So what you do is you run to the outside, you run through till you hit the boss room, then you cut in, and then you do your half of the inner loop back to the beginning, and then your outer loop again and then you just zigzag right at the end there so that you've full cleared without ever backtracking, without ever covering the same area twice, and you end at the boss room that you already saw. It's how we used to do Underground Sea. It's how it was the difference between the people who are making 112 million an hour and the people who are making 90 million an hour is realizing that you could see the entrance and then cutting back through the middle to make sure that you never backtracked, but that you always ended at the boss. That was the difference between 90 mil an hour and 120 mil an hour. And that's how we did that. That is the same principle there.
No.
I think
Invasion Snake with a
that
proxy shield. Like imagine a couple of shrapnel bearers and a proxy shield on top of them. But that's the good part with Vortex though. It's gonna be fun. Cold snap.
Yeah, what's a proximity shield?
Yeah.
Lol, I do damage over time builds.
Yeah, damage over time is really tempting. There's the snake with the prox shield, the shrapnel bearer, obviously, with the chaos projectiles. One thing that's gonna catch a lot of people off guard that has to be pointed out every time is Shiver Shell, the unique crab that in the first phase spawns like tons of ads, and you're like standing and fighting him on a pile of corpses. And then when he gets low life in the second phase, he triggers a Val DD that explodes the entire pile.
That's not a problem. I hate you, Yellow. Yellow reminder. I have a really bad problem with dying to apples. I don't remember.
When you say
what
apples, you
is.
mean the projectiles from Shrapnel Bearer.
Is that his name? There's an invasion boss, and when he dies, he shoots green apples really rapidly in a circle.
Yeah, that's Shrapnel Bearer.
Shrapnel Bearer? Right, well, I call him apples because they look like green apples.
Most of my in hardcore when I used to race, we had a group we played with, and we had two different people because they weren't always online. So we had two different people being the main map rollers. So they did the map rolling, sextants and shit. And whenever one guy needed to roll maps, we moved our group to the other guy who had prepped, 50 maps, and then we ran those while the other guy prepped his 50 maps, and then vice versa, just rotated.
Yep.
And I remember dying so many times to that. I told him I cannot do invasion balls. I can do everything but invasion, because that was during the meta where BV or EK Nova builds where you had like 5,000-6,000 EHP, and Shrapnel Bears would fuck you over. Everything else was fine, even with supports, but Shrapnel Bear would fuck you over. So I said explicitly, do not sextant roll invasion bosses. And I've died so many times to these people fucking up rolling a sextant boss, and there's one Shrapnel Bearer showing up. It's fucking nasty.
I did that. I was running support, and I was running with a guy named Blakey, and he was the carry, and I was rolling all the maps, and he was like, just don't do invasions. And I was like, you know what? It'll be fine. It wasn't a mistake. I was like, yeah, well, I mean, it was a mistake, but it wasn't an accident. I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to let you die again. Fucking, we both die instantly. It was like the second time in the same race. Just splat. Fuck.
Yep. Perks of being CI, though. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Because it's pure chaos damage. That was fucking...
Any other noteworthy invasion bosses to point out? Most of them are pushovers. They haven't been buffed in ages.
There's one with
that one doesn't exist anymore. That one doesn't have reflect anymore. The porcupine, you mean? No.
Okay.
They nerfed the birdie, but it's the Shrapnel Bear and the crab that needs to be taken good care of.
The goat is not dangerous anymore, right? With the leap slam goat that used to be with Val Molten Shell or.
Well, there's a skeleton actually. Whatever his face.
Oh yeah, you mean the Colossal Bone Stalker? What is his name? With the slam.
If the map has like increased AOE and crit, that guy can crit you from the side of the screen. He just needs to swinging, and then you're dead.
Something else worth noting.
Is there a Soul Eater invasion boss? There is Simi, the nature touch, the monkey that spawns monkey ads and eats souls. Yeah, gets pretty big.
There's a website we should find again, but I'm sure still works.
The most dangerous ones is literally the Colossal Skeleton, the Crab, and Shrapnel Bear. Those are the three most dangerous
What's
ones.
his name again, the skeleton? Had a really good name.
The thing is, it
I
depends on
don't
your build as well, because if your build has problems with proximity shield, most combinations with a snake is going to be a problem.
Does anyone remember the name of the website we used last Mayhem and every Mayhem before that tracked all of the zone mods? So you could, it even let you do stuff like favorite individual maps and be like, these are the maps that I want, and then it let you vote on what mods were in that zone. So like you'd be able to say, oh, invasion is here, and it would be like 1 tick for invasion. And then you'd look at the website in a minute and it'd be like, oh, there's 19 ticks for invasion. It's definitely invasion in that zone.
Track or something.
PoE tracker. That's the one. Thank you very much. Very nice.
Or PoE Craft works as well, right?
I think that's the one we
It's
used to use was
Ossicati.
PoE Craft.
Fucking
This PoE tracker looks
Ossicati.
better.
Yeah, Bone Shaper. There we go. That's him. Infernal blow, you die. Oh,
Slam,
dude,
similar to Val Slam. That's the one.
Yeah, he just does the slam ability that does so much damage. It'll fucking hurt your character in leagues to come.
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna bathroom real quick. I'll be back in a sec.
Yep. That shit is so nasty. But that guy only becomes a problem during leveling and when the map has really, really hard mods like AoE and crit, because that shit is super big already. And then the additively scaled increased area effect on that and a crit. And
or turbo and frenzy charges.
Ugh.
When it's so fast that you see it coming, but you don't get out of the way in time. That happens to me quite a lot because I don't usually run turbo maps, and then I always like run that one map that has double boss turbo or like just regular turbo, and I just forget about it and I just talk to chat while I muscle memory everything the way that I'm used to, without taking into account that I can't do that I have to react faster than normally.
Yeah, that is one of the main reasons why I do not do invasion bosses. Like I have to through the leveling, obviously. I can wait an hour. Unless you're progressing. If you're progressing after Act 8, 9, then you can literally say, okay, there's invasion here, and it's sketchy, like in the mines or something. Then I'm saying, fuck it, I'll just go level in Blood Aqueducts. As long as there's no invasions there. I'll level in Blood Aqueducts. I don't give a fuck. I'll level there. If there's invasion bosses in Blood Aqueducts, I'm going to go back to Harbor Bridge. And then I'll take Harbor Bridge and Blood Aqueducts as my leveling areas if there's invasions in the way. And I'll just progress.
Oh man, like in this league, we won't have to farm Blood Aqueducts for Tabula anyway, so I think there's almost no reason to run Blood Aqueducts over, like, say, Harbor Bridge or the fields in Act 9.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the desert. Like it's like anywhere where there's not invasion, and then when the hour kicks in, then you continue progressing. As soon as you hit
but not just invasion. Like Blood Aqueducts are just unreasonably rippy. Like the population is pretty rippy. You have the corpse explosions from the revenants, and you have the tornado shotters, which with the right auras from a rare can hit for a lot. Like I've definitely seen people in non-gauntlet leagues to like being blasted for upwards of 3k by the tornado shot guys when they were next to a subfizz or something like that. So I personally don't like Blood Aqueducts anymore since they nerfed the card drops, or at least it felt like they nerfed the card drops. Maybe it was just because of a particularly rewarding league it ended, and then I was like, oh, it doesn't work. But basically, since Delirium, I really don't like Blood Aqueducts, because in Delirium it was particularly problematic. Because it's such a long and narrow zone, so you don't get to a lot of stacks easily with Delirium. Because there's not that much to kill. But you get into a high distance from the mirror origin very, very fast without reaching a high number of reward stacks. So it's very misleading. You think like, oh, we're gonna make it to 3 rewards. We can always make it to 3 rewards without Delirium getting rippy, and then bam, you did. Because you just went away so far that the scaling is...
Invasion is like the only really sketchy mechanic that we'll encounter. It's like the big stopper, and I think it's going to kill a lot of people, and I don't think Invasion is worth doing at any point.
I think, Invasion is pretty scary, but I think people are going to underestimate Rogue Exiles or Tormented Spirits.
I think Tormented Spirit is going to be underestimated. It's like you said, I mean, if you do when you're leveling and there's Tormented Spirit, you have to be very cautious where you're going. Any off-screening, rare skeleton with substantial extra first, 10, 13, 40, 15 ghosts in that shit, you're dead. Good luck reacting.
I'm telling you right now, 100% of the time in hardcore solo self-found, I will turn around and leave a ghost zone. I'm not doing that zone.
Yeah,
I'm not doing ghosts.
I'm just dead. Like we said before, I'd rather if I get to a point where I can grind experience somewhere, even if we're going to be over leveled, I will go back and say fuck it. If there's ghosts in a sketchy zone or invasions where I know I can't really dodge it perfectly, I'm not doing it. I'm going back and I'm going to level somewhere until that hour kicks in and I can't continue progressing without that in the way.
Yep, I'm just not doing ghosts. I'm not as scared of invasions. If I'm over leveled, I'll be okay.
Yeah, I guess.
But I'm not touching it. I'm not touching ghosts. It's the Martyr Ghost. It's just the Martyr Ghost.
Val Cultist can be rippy as well because it randomly casts Val skills and it can be Val DD as well.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Yeah, but it's Martyr. I'm gonna kill myself to Martyr Ghost. That's what's gonna kill me. I'm just not doing ghost zones.
I mean, if you're playing Cold Dot Slinger, you should be fine for martyrs. Like, that's probably that rip is going to happen after you get your Headhunter and you transition into BV.
Yeah,
but at that point, you're not doing ghost areas anyway, so.
Yeah.
That's true, you shouldn't be doing ghost areas.
Ranges as well. You do strong boxes and breaches, basically.
But still, like, sometimes it's just that one map that you want to do to spawn, like, some sort of Conqueror or something, and you're like, do I really want to wait an hour until the mod changes? I'm just gonna run it. And then you're like, I'm just gonna run it. I'm no puss.
It's the actual Conqueror map, and you're like, oh, I need to do this, and you launch it not knowing what it is, because there's nothing up on PoE Craft, and then you're like, oh, good, it's dungeon with 20 ghosts in it. What do I do now? Enjoy your Blade Vortex build. Then you run around dungeon and you clear the whole thing because you're desperate for maps, but you only find 6 ghosts in the map. And then you look at the boss room and you're like, fuck.
No. On the other hand, there are some boss rooms where the boss is initiated and you can actually off-screen the ghost before they go into the boss. But that's very rare.
Which it is in dungeon, right?
Yeah, you can do that in dungeon,
activated.
But not with Blade Vortex. You can't.
No, yeah, you still have to be Cold Slinger then.
Tower maps are pretty good with that. For example, you can go into the boss room and kill the ghosts before any of them becomes targetable.
Yep. Tower's really good for that too. Because the bosses just aren't spawned and they can't absorb the thing until it spawns. Yeah. You can just run around and kill all the bosses real quick.
Can you imagine like delirium ghosts like Kosis or Omniphobia?
Right. All right. So we did like an hour and a half on Mayhem. We should
talk a little bit about the Delve.
We should talk a little bit about the Delve League. And so I'm gonna start by just in case anyone's missed it. The Delve League is just going to be Delve only, which means we will get some starter uniques that were the same ones we were getting from Descent Champions that we'll get to pick and start with. Presumably just out of boxes or quest rewards or whatever from in. And then we just Delve forever, which means there's nothing except Delve. Now, the only thing that's been added to Delve is a gem vendor. So you'll be able to buy whatever gems you want at level 1 from the vendor. Now, that's great. But there's a really long list of things we don't have. And this is not going to be... I don't have the document open that has the big list that I normally read from, so I'll probably miss something, but you won't have Conqueror influence bases. You won't have anything from Elder, anything from Shaper, anything from Legion, anything from any crafting bench, anything from basically anything that doesn't exist in Delve, you can't get. You can't upgrade Pantheons. You can't do all sorts of things. You get Elder and Shaper bases sometimes. Not enough.
You don't get
Technically.
rules.
Yeah, to be very clear there, you said no Conqueror bases, you don't get anything from Shaper or Elder, which meant specific boss drops. You didn't mean influence. Influenced items are still able to spawn, but at a much lower frequency in Delve, because you can't facilitate the drop with scarabs.
Prophecies, divination cards. Now, we're right in saying that Legion technically does exist in Delve, and technically it can drop most of those things. However, those are pretty rare nodes, and it's pretty rare to get any of those things, so we can't rely on any of them. There's also no catalysts and no oils, so we won't be able to quality anything or anoint anything. There are talismans, so we will be able to get random anointments from the talismans if you're lucky enough to get one. Congratulations, but don't plan on anointing anything because you won't have anything to anoint. So technically, some of these things will be very, very, very mildly available through things like the Legion spawn. However, and this is where I'm going to throw Ghazzy into the shit, because I watched his video about what's going to happen in Delve League, and Ghazzy is living in a fucking dream world where he thinks people are going to get to 1,000 depth, and it's not going to fucking happen.
Well, that's not what I said.
Now, when I say people, there will be some people that get to 1,000 depth. Those people will be like, Crouching Tuna's probably going to get past 1,000. He might even make it to 2 or 3K. The people who are generally every league delving past 10K have a knowledge base of each individual delve node to the point where they can do it on ZHP without dying most of the time, because they know the exact place to stand, the exact amount of damage they'll need, all sorts of things. But if you go and look at solo self-found, even in solo self-found softcore, and you look at what is 7 days into the league, you will notice that on softcore solo self-found, 7 days into the league, in softcore solo self-found this league, there was a total of 4 people above 800 depth, and they had access to all of the things that we do not have access to this league. The very idea of making it to 1,000 is a fucking pipe dream for 99.9% of people. If you are not already a delve god, do not expect to get to 1,000. Now, the problem with those people isn't sulfite. The problem with those people is the level of gear you need to be that deep.
I'm not sure if I agree.
The reason
there's always going to be a purpose of the league, the delving. Like for the people that delve, for the most part, which is trade leagues, is to make wealth. People go crazy deep to sell shit to make a fuckload of currency, especially with a hype of fractured and whatnot. Because what I think is going to happen now, since we're going to delve from the get-go, we don't have to worry about sulfite. Instead of just leveling and not caring about delve, because most people don't. This league is going to be delving 24/7, right? I think that people will get to about 180, 200 depth, and then they're going to be leveling their characters in that depth. And then there's going to be some people that is just going to do it because it's fun to see how far they can, progress in terms of depth with their characters. And the people that will be pushing, they'll level their character to their desired level by going horizontal at the area 83, and then they're going to remake the builds to 0 HP, which is very limited because there's no cluster jewels and all these things. And then they're going to go deeper. And in a trade league environment, be in a position where you can just go fucking crazy till about 2,000 depth, and after 2,000, then you have to actually get really good at your pathing and learn how to move. But that's also gated behind the sulfite caps, right? Because every time you fail, you're gonna have to farm more sulfite. Whereas in this league, in the endless delve, you're going to be able to practice the pathing and understand and learn how to path indefinitely, because you're not limited other than time, because your sulfite is infinite, right? And I think there's going to be a lot of people going pretty deep. But, you also have to compare that very deep in a trade league after a week. If someone would be pushing in softcore, for example, trade league, we're talking about a couple of thousand for the ones who are really pushing it. Whereas in a league like this, where you don't have a sulfite situation, because people have to build up their map pools, their currencies and whatnot, and get these things going in a trade league before they start pushing the delve. And I think it's going to be rather surprising with how many people are going to go pretty deep. But there's also going to be a huge brick wall where you going into your skill level of actual pathing, and that's where a lot of people can hit the brick wall, myself included, because I'm really bad at it. So my take for this league will be to actually utilize the league as a purpose for me to learn how to path in the deeper delves, whereas deeper delves is earlier in this league than it is in other leagues where we have access to better gear.
To just sort of like back up and sort of reiterate my point, if you look up the solo self-found ladder right now in the highest league, this deep in, and you look for people past 1,000 in solo self-found, it ain't even a full page.
Yeah, but keep in mind a couple of differences with that. The first one is solo self-found defeats a lot of the purposes of going deep in delve in a normal league that is not only delve, because the main purpose of delving is currency. Mm-hmm. So people might do it because they want to see how hard they can push it. And those people that have decided to do that should be a very small percentage on top of PoE Ninja, only showing a certain percent of higher level people, right?
So then we lower it to 800 and it still doesn't make a full page.
Balor, but you're talking about Heist League. Like, there was so much other stuff that people did in Heist League than just Delve. Like, Endless Delve will be just Delve. Like, Heist League, there was a lot of incentive to do.
If we go and look at the gear of everyone at 800, every single one of them is 4 to 5 times as well geared as we could possibly be with all of the limitations on us. I think people who are expecting to see stuff that deep are way, way overestimating the limitations and how much they are going to hurt us. I just don't think it's possible to get geared enough to do any of that stuff unless you're already incredibly familiar with Delve. I think the list of people that will make it to 1,000 are the people who already do deep delve, like 4, 5, 6,000. I'm happy to be wrong, but I don't believe I am. So the only way I'm going to get convinced is to watch it happen in front of me when the Delve League happens.
This will be very interesting.
I expect most people to hit a wall that they cannot get past, somewhere between 450 to 600.
How many people do you think is going to hit 1,000 depth? Just roughly.
Less than 10.
Less than 10.
Let's say 10 or less.
10 or less. I think we're going to see more than 50.
That is a very large difference.
Yeah. I think we're going to see more than 50 people reaching 1,000 depth. Because the thing is, we also have to keep in mind that Cyberpunk's going to be released. We'll see how many we'll be pushing. But I think more than 50 is going to reach 1,000 plus.
All right.
If not over 100. But a 50, I'm very confident it's going to happen. That's my take.
All right. You know what? I'll be delighted to be wrong, because it'll show me that we don't need nearly as much power as I think we need to go that deep. But I don't think it'll happen. But I'm super happy to be wrong.
We'll have to have another podcast after the event.
Can we make a bet of some kind on this?
We can do a bet. What
I don't want to bet money because I'm broke as fuck.
Yeah, I feel
but like,
hold on, you care about standard. I'm logging into standard right to see if I have any good shit. Hold on.
Nah, I don't care about standard. Standard isn't the thing.
I mean, you're talking about all artworks. I'm going in to check if I have any. You wanted a bet.
No. Hang on. Fucking right. Whoever's closer. So there'll be a middle ground. What's between 10 and 50?
What?
What's right in the middle between 10 and 50? What's right in the middle?
35.
Is that directly in the center? 35?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if it's 35, no one has to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's below that, it's closer to me. And if it's above that, it's closer to you, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the old school classic embarrassment of literally put a shoe on your head and post a picture on Twitter.
Shoe on my head, post on Twitter.
Yeah.
You got a deal, sir. Here, we'll shake on it.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Done.
Perfect.
30 math guys? Apparently it's 30.
30, yeah, sorry.
Is it 30? Is 30 the middle? Someone who knows how to math. Whatever's the direct center, then that's a tie, right? We're fine. Apparently it's 30.
It's 30.
That's a tie. We're fine. No one does shit. If it's on my side, he does it. If it's on his side, I do it.
Yeah, it's 30. All that thing. Shoe on head, post on Twitter. Okay, I'm game.
Yep, done.
You guys better not fucking disappoint me now. Go delving, boys.
It's definitely hard to predict. There's a lot of factors, and I hear your reasoning, Balor, and it's very strong. However, there's also some things that pointed out by chat, such as there is nothing else to do in Endless Delve but to go deeper, and then you have no soul fight requirements, so you can put all your time in there. And yeah, I mean, there is strong restrictions, especially not having the crafting bench is going to be really hard. But I think you're just underestimating how much of a, like, throw your dead body, throw your corpse at a node will do for a lot of people. I mean, eventually,
I think
you'll always
the majority of people will have quit the league by day 3. They'll hit their wall on day 2. They'll level for a whole bunch sideways. Then they'll try and go down again and realize they're still nowhere near geared enough to continue with their wall, and they'll just all bet. Unfair bet. Balor changed his amount from no more than 10 to up to 30. Okay, but Ghazzy's was it'll be more than 50. And so we've picked a point in the middle, which seems as fair as physically possible, right?
No, I think that's perfect. 29 or less, you win. 31 or more, I win.
Yeah. If it's 30 on the dot, I don't know. I guess we just we both look at it and go, fuck me, all right.
That would actually be pretty funny.
That would be fucking hilarious. But yeah, done.
I'm game for that.
Yep. You just had the thought of, if I have to do this, it's actually embarrassing. I'll do it. Fuck it. I don't care. I've said I'll do it, so I'll do it now. You don't get to say shit like that on the internet and then not do it.
And we even shook on it.
Yeah, we're done.
All right. Can we talk about something else about the Delve Dome? That's the starter items.
Yeah, the starter items are a good talking point. What starter item particularly caught your eye?
There's only 2 sets that are really good. Everything else is disappointing, and it's like GGT wants to have trash uniques for no apparent reason, and this is no different. I mean, we have
Descent Champion ones. They're already made. They didn't make these. These are Descent Champions uniques. They're like 7 years old.
I thought some of them were new.
That's literally the exact. That's literally the exact Descent Champion lineup of uniques.
Because the problem is that in the current state of the game, some of these are completely disastrous. Like the bow and quiver is okay. It's good-ish. It's all right. It's not really specific, but I mean, for the bow build players, that's fine. And the other set that's really good is
the quiver is completely trash for like Caustic Arrow or Toxic Rain, which probably a lot of bow builds are going to be playing because all other bow skills are kind of questionable.
I'm not even sure if Caustic Arrow or Toxic Rain existed when those uniques were made. Like, these aren't new uniques. These are just Descent Champion uniques from fucking 7 years ago.
Yeah, and they needed some tuning. I mean, look at the items, for example. Blood of the Summer, Frenzy Charge, Moving Speed, Frenzy Charge, Kill. I mean, that's a given. Any build that's not going to use a bow is going to use Blood of the Summer. And then most of the builds going for, like, anything to grant a level 20 Hatred skill from Scar of Fate is insane.
God, imagine if it was anything but Hatred, though.
But then you have stuff with gems that 50% reduce mana cost in it as well. And then it's like... Sorry?
A level 20 Hatred is great, but imagine if it was a level 20 Wrath and you were an attack
skill, but that's ridiculous. Right? Like, obviously, they wouldn't be doing.
But I mean, look at Rusted Winter. It's disastrous. It's terrible. Ash of the Sun. I don't even want to talk about it. Blood of Summer, amazing. Fragment of Eternity at level 1 to get crit and power charges. That's useless. And then the worst one, Splinter of the Moon. 20 spell damage, 12 cast speed, flat 2 mana, 4% chance of freeze and shock. any blue wand would be better than that. The only thing that's redeeming for this wand is to regenerate 2 mana per second. That's the only thing that's good on that wand. Anything else, like a white wand that I accidentally trip and smack a transmutation orb would be better. I mean, Remnant of the
they're all
Empire,
very
one
outdated.
shield.
To be fair,
it's terrible.
They're better than starting with nothing.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's, the Blood of Summer, Scar of the Fates, insane.
Yeah, and even if they were good, they were all going to be irrelevant in 20 levels, which with Endless Delve just being the way we level is going to be like 15 minutes. I just don't think they're a big deal. I mean, they're kind of outdated and irrelevant now, but whatever. We're just going to get gear from Delve and put it on. Whatever.
Compare Splinter of the Moon. That's a wand that regenerates 2 mana. Compare that with equipping yourself with a Scar of Fate that has reduced 50% reduced mana cost and smacking a Clarithian.
Yeah, so you're done then. That's it.
There's no reason to use the wand.
Well, there is. I mean, 50% reduced mana cost is only for socketed gems, and it's only as long as you have a 3-link. As soon as you can upgrade to a 4 or 5-link, that socketed gems have 50% reduced mana cost. It's not going to be affecting it anymore. I mean, to be fair, it might be also at the time where you want to switch out of this for a better wand. But I can see, on a caster marauder, if you for some reason you want to level a caster chieftain or something like that.
What's the exact
flat mana
on that
region is
wand?
Great. What, regenerate 2 mana per second, or what are we talking about?
No, for the reduced mana.
That's on the Nailed Fist Scour of Fate.
Oh, right.
And its socketed gems have 50% reduced mana cost.
Damn it, I was really excited that it was a wand for a second then.
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
a
not
3-word
reservation of clarity, sorry. But yeah.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, the shield is crazy. I'm surprised that you guys haven't specifically pointed out the shield, because it's no level requirement, 28 chance to block, 30% chance to block spell damage, and a 50% chance to get an endurance charge on block. That's going to be so helpful early on with the resists, especially because you get 3 additional Orbs per endurance charge. And endurance charges, for those of you who don't know, already give you 4% all elemental resistance per. So you get max 3 endurance charges really easily with this. And then it's
21%
level 1
Blade Vortex, Blood of the Summer, Scar of Fate. That's all you need.
I mean, Blade Vortex level 12, but also, I think the reason I didn't look at it is because I don't care about anything that isn't spells or minions. With the perhaps slight exception of Toxic Rain and Caustic Arrow, which are, let's be honest, spells in every way that matters. They're just spells that scale with your attack speed instead of your cast speed. It's scaling is. I just don't like attack builds. So I don't look at a shield and be like, lol, I'm going to block. That's not. I'm just going to dual wield wands on everything I ever play. I just don't do attack builds. So I kind of glanced over it and just didn't even notice that it was a thing. But I think that could be just a personal preference problem. I just don't like them. I just want to cast spells. BalorMage, by the way.
Yeah. I'm just not sure whether dual wielding is the right thing. Shield will allow you to get past difficult things early on. And especially with not having the resists from the crafting bench, the all res per endurance charge and the easy sustain of endurance charges should not be underestimated, I think. I mean, there is nullifier, so you shouldn't completely rely on endurance charges for capping your resists, but early on, I think it's a nice little crotch until you can get the gear together.
If you have enough Valorbs, you could infinitely make level 1 characters and just pick items up and Val them for implicits.
Yeah,
because they can all be traded between your stash, so you just have an infinite amount of those uniques until you run out of Valorbs.
Those uniques are going to be level 1, right? Item level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Which severely limits your Val pool.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is fantastic because plenty of the really good ones happen at low levels, and you want.
Well, that's the question. Like specifically for shields, you get increased max life, increased energy shield, chance to block, plus socketed gems. That's huge.
Mhm.
Or chance to block. Actually, plus level of socketed gems is really huge. That's like weight 1,000. And then that's like 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's really good. That's like 1 in 5 to get plus level of socketed gems on the shield.
Yep.
That's really good.
So some of those could be pretty interesting. There'll be some people mass balling those for sure, because you've got an unlimited amount. Just make a character, turn them in, put it in your stash. Make another character, turn it in, put it in your stash. Continue until you've got a stash full of them, and then ball them all. Like that's it.
No.
I'm gonna look now. I'm gonna look at the mods that you can get on the claw. How can I? Where is it? Mods, one-handed claw. I want to know what we can get on level 1 claw. Super curious now. Orb. That's like woo! 1 in 6 between attack speed, crit chance, crit multi, block while dual wield. That's not that great. But chance to gain frenzy charge on kill, chance to get a power charge on crit. That's really good.
Oh, okay. Those are nice. So yeah, there's plenty of really nice ones at low levels. So that'll be something to keep in mind for people.
This is a one-hand sword. Just quickly, Blood of Summer, just to know. Like the other ones I'm not super interested in because they're not popular choices, but Blood of Summer, it can be corrupted for Onslaught on kill, Fortify on melee hit, chance, area of effect, and attack speed. Okay, yeah, you kind of want the Onslaught on kill there, up to 15%.
Fortify if you're doing it in hardcore.
Yeah, but it's a chance to fortify on melee hit. So first of all, you'd have to land a melee hit.
Shield charge.
Yeah, shield charge, but you're gonna link fortify on shield charge anyway. Like, as if you were sacrificing 1 gem socket for that. Like, it's only a 15% chance, and your hit chance is already scuffed on a caster. You'll have like 60-70% chance to hit.
Isn't it a sword?
Huh?
Didn't you say sword?
Yeah,
what item were you looking at?
Yeah, we're looking at one-hand swords.
Melee? Yeah, you'd just be a level 1 melee build that had Fortify.
Yeah, but we're talking about like, I mean, yeah, of course, if you're a melee build, but are you
There's
going
still
to
only
be a melee build?
15% chance on that.
I mean,
it's fine if you're like Cyclone or something like that, something that rapidly hits. Sure, but I wouldn't rely on it for a caster.
But the attack speed and crit should be local ones. So it's like increased area effect would be nice as well for BV, but Onslaught's gonna be so good.
Yeah, Onslaught's gonna be the quality of life one there. Sure. Although no, Resolute Technique is also in there. I didn't know that's
level 40.
Level 40. I level 40. I saw the 1 here and I was like, what 1? Like, what Resolute Technique? That would be so sick. Imagine. Nah, it wouldn't.
What's the item level of increased fist damage? It's 85 for the tier 1, but what's the tier 2?
Oh, there's 2 tiers. Oh, it's also item level 1. Wow, good pointing out. So it's actually 1 in 5, not 1 in 4. To hit the good one. Because increased fizz is garbage. Because it's local.
Is it?
Yeah, increased fizz on a weapon is always local. Unless it specifically says
that's
global.
true, yeah.
Just like the attack speed, like you said. Although attack speed is better local anyway. Because you have that high base attack speed for whatever attack skill you're using for movement. So yeah, like any combinations between Blood of Summer, Scour of Fate, and Remnant of Empires will be great, I think. Any 2 out of the 3. I mean, dual wielding early on is okay, but you might just want to pick the shield to go with the shield from the start.
Yeah.
And if you have an ascendancy that gets some sort of block chance, it's really good synergy. Like Necro, Ascendant, Gladiator. I mean, I don't know why you would play Gladiator.
Is basically look out for what you might want to corrupt in little batches because the level 1 corruptions are good. And also, I have no faith in people. That's the TLDR. I think everyone's gonna fail before 1,000 depth, and make sure you like corrupt some stuff if you've got enough Orbs.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna make it to 1,000. I'll tell you that. I don't think I'm good enough. I'll try, but I don't think I'm good enough.
I don't know. With like a minion. No, minions die.
Minions just die.
Yeah, but if you have something that can kill around the corner, like the cold dot or something like that, you might be able to just off-screen things. Cold Slinger might actually be really good for delving, now that I think about it.
Maybe.
Progress and Endless Delve will be per character only. Well, but you have to level them anyway, and since you don't have like leveling zones, I don't think there's a big pain in that, CB. Like, I think you can go down and delve faster than you get levels anyway. Like,
and it has to be like that, because otherwise, let's just say Crouching Tuna gets really lucky and he's the #1 guy and he gets to 1,200 while everyone else is stuck at 600. But what he does is he finds a really nice zone that doesn't have any mods on it, because those exist. He just goes sideways for a bit at 1,200. He doesn't need to push any further. And he just finds a really nice zone that has no mods in it. And then he levels 8 other characters at different ascendancies and runs 1 node each on all of them. And now he's got 8 demis.
No, they fixed that to be character specific. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what we're specifically. That's what I'm saying. Like, it has to be that way, because otherwise this shit happens, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
It has to be that way. It has to be character specific. So I'm not bothered by that, like rolling it back to the old way of character specific, because otherwise shit like that happens. One guy gets really lucky and he wins every demi because he just can. And that's not going to work.
I also sort of disagree with the notion of it will be a pain in hardcore. Like, if you die, like you'll start at level 1 again. So yeah, you won't be able to continue in a deeper delve already. But I mean, I tried to do Endless Delve Simulation in permanent standard with like 30k sulfite and level the character, and I just regularly had to go sideways at around level 50 to 60 because I continuously like was super underleveled. So yeah,
I would have personally been okay if Nico's Mineshaft continued down with you until monster level 83 and just stop
83.
There. Yeah, like max level, like 170 depth or whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 171 depth you meant.
Yeah, I would have been okay if the shaft just headed down with you, and then if you made another character, it would have a shaft all the way down to 83 and it would just stop there. Because that's not going to be an issue. Literally everyone will make it to that depth. Like, if you bother to play, you will just get there. That's a very easy depth to make it to. There's no gear requirement there. That's easier than mapping. It's fine. You'll be fine. So that's not like a stretch. So I would have been perfectly okay if they followed a mineshaft all the way down the first time until you hit the 83 depth. So depth 171 or whatever it is. And then just left that for your ults. Like, that's where you started. Because you're never going to start there anyway. You're level 1, you're Endless Delves, you're going to have to go sideways somewhere. Like, it would just let you, pick where you wanted to go, but it wouldn't give you a big advantage. Like, lol, I'm the one that got the one guy who got to 1,200, so I'm just going to jump there. Because that would have been bullshit. So I'm glad that's not happening, but... yeah. Catmaster muted, apparently.
Okay, then let me just repeat the 10 sentences that I said. I was just checking again. Between Delve Depth 20 and Delve Depth 30, you're going up 1 monster level per level. Now, I don't know how it will be in the Endless Delve event itself, because obviously they're going to change some things about the scaling. I think they're just going to offset it, though, and they start at monster level 1. But right now, Delve starts at 33 or 34 or something like that. But what I'm trying to say is between like 2 consecutive nodes, you can easily go up 2 monster levels, sometimes even 3 with like long delves, I would assume. And no way you're going to get 2 levels out of that at level like 60. So you're going to have to delve sideways anyway to level.
Yep.
So
normally,
not being able to skip is
like
whatever.
the normal suggestion I tell people is to head straight down no matter what. Don't go sideways for anything. But that's because we spend way more time leveling in maps, and when you get to the delve, you're already well in front of where you need to be. So you should just always head directly down. Don't head sideways for anything. In Endless Delve, that's not going to be the case. You won't. You just won't head down forever. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to go sideways.
Yeah,
but that's fine.
I still think people will go down to like depth around 200 or something, and then they go horizontal from there. And say, fuck it, they'll level up the couch to whatever they want. I think we're going to see a pretty big stop on the ones that are going super deep, that they will spend a few days of the league just leveling their characters around that depth. And then towards the end of the league, then you'll see a lot of people just rushing down.
I don't even think that'll happen. I think the super experienced delvers will take most of the first day leveling their character, and then they'll be like 92, 93. And they'll be like, whoop, down forever. I'm ZHP now. See ya.
I think people will. I think they'll level up a little bit more. For the simple fact that we're limited in gearing, so I think they want to get that extra jewel slot.
Maybe.
Do you guys have your eyes on specific ascendancies already for Endless Delve? Is there anything that you like looking at?
I don't
99% icicle mines.
I don't even know what I'm going to play. Doesn't matter. Anything on the top half or the right half. Basically, if you're not making a Marauder or a Duelist, you're going to be Icicle Mines.
Yeah.
Icicle Mines, Inquisitor, Icicle Mines, Guardians, Icicle Mines, Elementalist, Occultists, fucking Icicle Mines, any of the Shadow Ascendancies, Icicle Mines, any of the Raider Ascendancies.
Yeah. It's literally what's going to happen. It's going to be Icicle Mines all over the place. They deal with the corpses, they deal with the coverage, they deal with the damage. They're able to go 0 HP. And and they're not limited like Penance Brand, for example, for the Class of Jewels to be able to perform that well at 1000 depth, by the way.
Yeah, it's just being able to like shatter and remove corpses and do good damage around corners and everything. It's just.
Icicle Mine has chain, right? Like natively on the gem, right? Or do you need to link it with chain?
No,
to get
but
chain?
you can chain it. I don't believe it's built in.
But people do that. That's a thing, right? Or do I have that wrong in my memory? Because I'm not a big Icicle Mines player myself.
People do that by being a Deadeye. They don't put chain with it. They just get chain from Deadeye to get further around corners.
Because it shoots projectiles in a Nova-like, and that's it. And then the enemies that are near it can take up to 500% more damage. Or increased critical strike chance, sorry. That are near it.
I'm going to do something that's not Icicle Mines for Delve because I start work during that Delve League, so I'm probably not going for a demi. I'm just going to have fun with it.
So you're also going to play softcore instead of
999 and then just stopping.
Imagine if there's 29 people above me and I'm just stopped one level below. There's like
I'd call that rigged, though.
That's not rigged. That still count. That would still count. I would not let you get out of that. I would just stop and be like, "Yep, I'm done. That's it."
It's gonna be very fun though to see whose faith in the PoE community is accurate.
Just quickly,
like the community has been over the years has actually gone so much better at the game than many years ago. And I want to take credit for that because I think that's a lot of the content creators have helped with that, spreading information, guides and whatnot. I think that's been a huge impact in that sequence. And a lot of cheat information and sharing over Reddit has also been contributing a lot to that. So I think that's really good.
Oh, all right. So we've got that. We've got Endless Delve, which is going to be super fun, but very restrictive. Interested to see how that goes. But the longest event that we've got, 3 weeks long, is it? Is Flashback?
Mm-hmm. With Heist.
Which is like a little baby version of Mayhem. And so I'm actually just not fucking interested in Flashback at all.
No, I mean, I'd rather play Endless Delve and then move over to finishing Cyberpunk than bother Flashback. I will play it, but I don't want to focus on it.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, it's like, it's so close to just the regular league, right? Because there's only like a few extra mobs added. There's like Flashback is just Heist, but with 8 scarabs instead of 4. I mean,
or like, yeah,
kind of though.
Yeah, 8 instead of 5. You mean?
Well, no, 4. One of them is a map.
You're right.
Room for 4. Yeah,
yeah, no, like, I was thrown off by the 8 because then it's 7 because you have 3 mods, not 4.
No, you're true. Like,
I don't know.
It's like just having 7
feels
scarabs.
Shit to me. I never liked Heist. It was so dull to me. And now the Flashback, I'm like, Mayhem amazing. Endless Delve's going to be interesting. And Flashback coming out on what, 18th of December? So a couple days before Christmas. I mean, I'll do my Christmas
Cyberpunk
stuff,
finished. Like,
yeah,
I might not have even got to play Cyberpunk yet by that point because the events and stuff. Like, I don't know. I'm just really not interested in Flashback. I could have just said Heist. That would have also been fine.
I mean, and certainly they put this event specifically there as a kind of thing that's cool for people to play and to engage with if they're not interested in other things. But since it's during the Christmas holidays and during the Cyberpunk release, it's exactly on that day, right? December 18th is when Cyberpunk releases. Then I mean, it's just gonna be a nice thing for people to do if they want to play PoE. If they want to, new players may want to play a lot of PoE. I remember when I first started, there was nothing I wanted to play but PoE because I wanted to get better at PoE. Yeah. So every chance that I had at a new league start or at like just playing PoE, I threw myself at it.
And Flashback is the only non-voided one, right?
Exactly.
Like
I was about to point that out.
Take shit back to standard.
Yeah. So if you're someone to play temp leagues to make wealth for standard for permanent leagues, then definitely that one's great.
And we might not give a shit about it. Like I literally couldn't care less. But that's not everyone. There are plenty of people around who care about standard and are very discouraged by the first 2 events because they're voided. Which, by the way, after having a league like Harvest League, is it really a big stretch to make Mayhem not voided? Like, come on.
I think a lot of people are bitching about that, but I think
did we not straight up break the entire fucking standard economy with Harvest League for 3 fucking months? I mean, what is Mayhem going to do to standard that they haven't already had done to them? Like,
one of the reasons I gave away my mirror items my mirror service items in standard was because they said they were not going to make changes or implement stuff or change to the game that would impact the market. And then they said, hey, look, we have new tier 1 modifiers. And like entire mirror service market standard was like, oh shit, we got to recraft Loathbane. All of these iconic mega items that's been in the game for many years. Like all of them were like, shit, we got to remake them. And I was like, I can't be arsed for that anymore. That's one of many years ago now though. But the thing is, they've always made sure that the main leagues has never been voided. And they have a tendency of voiding really heavy shorter events in a somewhat of an attempt not to screw over the market. But then, again, Harvest came out. Synthesis was also mega big for items in standard. But nobody really cared about the synthesis that much, whereas Harvest was easily crafted. But the synthesis itself gave such insane pieces. It was crazy. These bases. And then we have the Legacy League. We had Eternal Orbs coming back into play. which is pretty crazy. I mean, an Eternal Orb in Standard costs about 3 to 4 mirrors each right now. And I mean, I think I've used 2,000 of those. I mean, that's pretty fucking crazy. And they cost 2 to 3 mirrors each now.
Ever.
It's insane. Well, then again, I used to craft a lot in Standard back then. So I mean, it's like they're making so many changes, and so they don't care about Standard. So why would they have voided leagues at all?
Yeah. I just don't get why it's voided. Like, there's zero chance that Mayhem can do something to the Standard League that Harvest didn't. Like, it'll barely even be a blimp on the radar. Like, do you think they could give me 3 months of Harvest League and I would not have gear as good as I had 7 days into Harvest? Like, that's not like I could spend 3 months in Mayhem and just not have gear as good as 1 week in Harvest. Like, I'm just not. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
that gear can't be made. It doesn't exist.
I think Mayhem is avoided for the simple fact that the league was designed as a voided league, and instead of going in and changing that, they're just saving dev time. I think it has more to do with that.
Yeah, voiding a league takes a lot of dev time. Yeah.
I'm not a developer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot. But it feels like voided, not voided is just like a true false statement. Like that should take... It feels like that should take an intern about 18 fucking seconds. Maybe I'm an idiot. I'm not a programmer. I don't know. I'm not a game developer.
There's a huge process of transferring the characters into the leagues, right? That's a pretty big process. Servers goes down, they transfer everything over to the parent league. That process is taken away. I'm not sure how much work this is. So, like I said, like you said as well, I'm not a developer. I'm just saying that there is a process behind.
Maybe I'm an idiot. I'm definitely not a programmer, but I am saying it really seems like something that's just a true false statement. Like, not, it just doesn't seem that complicated. Is it voided? Yes or no?
That's fair though. Like, I think because there is only like 2 hours between the events, right? So the Mayhem goes 166 hours, which is 2 hours shy of exactly 1 week. And exactly 1 week after the Mayhem starts, we get the End of Stealth. And exactly 1 week after that starts, we get the Heist flashback. And then, exactly 3 weeks later, I would assume, the end of the flashback kind of coincides with the end of Heist League, if I got that right. Wait.
Yep.
No, it ends 1 week before. Now, there's 1 week of Heist after flashback. But what I'm trying to say is that maybe they couldn't do the events as closely together if they actually had to schedule a downtime for the migration of the characters out of the temp league into permanent. I don't know whether they'd have to though, because it's
all I heard was that we're having 2 hours less Mayhem than they advertised.
Okay, except just imagine for a moment that you're doing the Mayhem race and that you are neck and neck with some dude, and you have been all week, and you've been skipping sleep, and you've been getting back up, and you've been racing your heart out to get first place, and you have to play all the way up until the last minute of the last hour of Mayhem.
And
you finally get your win. But then you were so excited for the Delve League as well, and you really want to race in that. But now you have 2 hours to have a nap before it's fucking league time. Let's go. The Delve race is on. There is no downtime. I would be okay with all of these being 6-day events, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think that would be better. But I mean, honestly, they truly scammed us off 2 hours. That's all I heard. And I think it's time for us to riot. Make a statement. We cannot accept this, that we're getting 3 weeks of flashback.
Yeah.
1 entire actual week of Endless Delve. But we get 6 days and 22 hours of Mayhem. Come on.
No, that holds for all. That holds for all of them. That holds for all of them. They all end 2 hours earlier than they start. Even the flashback, I think. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah, but flashback is 3 weeks. Nobody cares about flashback.
But it's still 3 weeks minus 2 hours.
Ugh. I'd rather see them postpone.
You'd be lucky if I played 2 hours worth of flashback.
I think Flashback will be a lot of fun because you get a lot more different combinations. You get additional delirium mirrors and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, if you don't have anything better to play, it's going to be more fun than the vanilla Heist League, and a fresh restart is always great. And I think it will have more interesting combinations simply because you get 3 mods per area. Obviously, it's not going to be as rich and dense as the regular, the Mayhem. And one particular thing I'm a little bit disappointed about is that there's no flashback mods in the heist areas, but it does make sense if you think about it, because repository already reaches single-digit FPS if you don't have corpse removal. So might be a little bit too much to put Delirium and Beyond on there.
So, I had this thought 2 years ago. Last time we had a Mayhem and a Turmoil event back to back, and my thought was, how bad would it be if we had a Mayhem flashback where you got any random 3, but at the Mayhem levels?
20 invasion bosses, 20 Rogue Exiles, and 20 Harbingers.
I mean, I would love it if they just
ghosts.
moved. If they had flashback for 1 week, Endless Delve for 1 week, and this gave us 3 weeks of mayhem.
But would you play it if it was during Cyberpunk?
I would still.
Yeah, they could move the fucking flashback shit during Cyberpunk instead. That would have been better as well. I'm not sure what's up with this decision making. Endless Delve is new. It's refreshing. It's going to be interesting, even if not most people will enjoy it. I think it's going to be interesting for a lot of people. And they
wait, so you're saying they should have put it in competition with Cyberpunk to be like, hey, people, you either get your shot at Endless Delve, which you always wanted to play, or you go and play your shitty Cyberpunk game, but then you don't get Endless Delve. I don't think it's a nice idea to put people into that position where they have to pick.
That's how it is now.
What do you mean? How? Oh, wait. You're right.
That's how it is now.
That's how it is now.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
True.
I wish they had flashback during
Endless Delve is so different from the normal league. They could have done Mayhem flashback for 3 weeks and then punted the Endless Delve to the end.
Yeah.
And then had flashback during Cyberpunk. And then I would have been able to play Mayhem and then go play Cyberpunk and then come back and do Endless Delve.
Yeah. I have to admit I was of the misconception that Mayhem, that Cyberpunk releases on 18th, but it had been corrected by chat earlier already that it releases on the 10th. Yeah, in that case, I agree 100% with that sentiment. It's kind of sad that people will have to decide whether they want to play this or that. But it also means that Endless Delve will have less competition, only from people who are really determined, who are going to be the only serious competition anyway. But it also means that people who die in Endless Delve, in SSF HC on the ladder, will be there will be much less incentive for them to re-roll. They'll be like, oh, it's time for Cyberpunk now.
Well, I've talked to
less
Chris.
Than 30 people who make it to 1,000.
I spoke to Chris a few days ago, and we're going to have an opportunity to get back on him, because obviously and evidently he does not like us. He does not like the PoE community. That's why he's doing this. That's why this decision has been made, and he approved it. So I spoke to Chris a few days ago, and he said that once 3.13 is released, he can make some time. He's going to join the PoE community boys in playing Among Us, and then we could always kill him at any given time, and we could always vote him out immediately, so we can get our revenge sometime after 3.13 releases.
About that Among Us, do you think we can get a crew together for after this podcast?
I have to get
it's 2 a.m. and I need to go to bed.
To level the BFBB poison build, and I have to make another video. But after that, sure.
Okay, so later today, when Balor wakes up again.
I'm not.
So in like 7-8 hours, you have to be down. Not now.
In like 8 hours time, sure.
Ghazzy? 8
Poke
hours?
me. If I'm awake, I'll do it.
Well, like, we also rely on you. You have the network for Among Us. I don't know a lot of people who play Among Us. I could get Slippery Jim maybe.
Over to you. We can talk about it after the podcast. There's a server and get you guys in.
All right, yeah, send me that link. Slim B told me about it yesterday, but I thought I was excluded from the server because I'm so bad at Among Us. I was like kind of scared that you guys didn't want to play with me because I'm so bad and it's so unexciting and I'm so easy to read. But I promise I'll step up my game because like it was my first round when we played together last week. So
I'm not going to play
we have no
RimWorld.
idea.
That's not going to happen. Last time I played RimWorld, I accidentally streamed for 30 hours and then I had to do the laundry and a few other things. I was awake for 38 hours. I'm still recovering.
Yeah.
Don't do that, by the way. Don't ever do that. It's still rough on the body.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Like relatively recently, like in the last year or two. And I discovered that my body as a 30-plus-year-old can't handle that like it used to when I was like 21. 21, I'd do 30 hours and I'd be like, oh, I need a good 10 hours sleep. And then you just have a 10-hour sleep, wake up, be fine, continue on about your business. It doesn't work like that in your 30s anymore.
Vanilla, classic WoW. I did 35-hour stream. And then, I don't know, it took me 2 weeks to become a human again. Granted, most of those hours were spent sitting in a queue. But, you know, I don't know. I'm turning 30 in a couple of months, so I'm trying to stay within this stupidity of staying up late, but I can't handle it anymore.
I'll only ever do it on league starts, but I don't know. I feel it's not worth it. Like the quality of my gameplay is much better if I'm well rested. Like maybe in softcore it's worth it because you can just push harder and go further, but in hardcore I feel like I go so much slower when I'm not well rested because I'm so scared of everything. Like
kind of depends which game as well. RimWorld was kind of chill to play. Wasn't too like you can pause the game and make your decisions. Even if I fucked up several times throughout the last couple of hours. In PoE hardcore it's a bit you really need to be on the edge.
I think we're about at the 2-hour mark. I don't want to open another big can of worms, but there's like one topic I quickly want to go over, and that's, can you still imagine Path of Exile without stash tab affinities at this point?
Yeah, I have nightmares about it.
I don't think I've had them long enough to forget how bad it was beforehand, but I never want to go back. Also, the control shift thing that got put in like today.
Control shift?
Yeah, you can
I'm
now.
sorry, did you not read that? If
No.
you press control shift instead of just control when you click on something, it will ignore stash tab affinities and just put it away in the normal tab.
Thank
that
you!
You're on.
Rolling
It's
maps.
so good!
Oh, I'll take out a map and then go to your currency tab and then holding that control, clicking in. I'm like, shit, it went back to the map tab. Go back, pick it up, do it again.
So control shift just drops it in the tab that's open, ignoring the affinity.
Oh, good
it's
lord.
so good.
Oh, thank God. Now they only need to get a keybind to scroll through tabs that are in a folder.
Yeah. Control shift scroll instead of control scroll.
Yeah, or
to go through the tabs inside one folder.
Yeah.
Really easy. That's
I should probably quickly show it in game, because people are asking all the time. So when you have like an affinity, say like you have uniques go into this tab, but then you have like unique.
Game, can they?
They can see my game in the middle of the screen.
Oh, mine must just be super.
Well, anyway, like I put affinity for unique items here, right? So you control click this item and it's a unique, but the tab that has the affinity for unique is full, so it doesn't go anywhere. So if you then control shift click instead, then it goes into the tab that's currently selected. It ignores the affinities if you hold the shift down while control clicking. And that's just that's what you want. And what Ghazzy specifically said, like a lot of people apparently like to roll their maps in the currency tab. So you take out a map and you go into the currency tab and you control click it in there. And that was not possible since dash tab affinities were added if you had map affinity on the map tab, because it would just go into the map tab instead.
It's not necessarily, that's fine for incidental rolling of one map.
But if you want to like chain roll
20 maps at a time and then run those 20 maps at a time and then also need to fill up scarabs in my run tab and watchstones in my run tab and everything. And it was a point of I'd have to go and turn off all the affinities and then roll everything, put it all in, and then turn back on all the affinities. so that I could actually do it. Otherwise, I couldn't set up my run tabs. And now I can just control shift click it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's
Fantastic.
beautiful.
Yep.
Beautiful. Yeah. And it's like so many things in the past of Path of Exile, like Lockstep and then some other changes where you're like, it's, for me personally, I can't even imagine going back. Like Balor may still need a day or two of gameplay in order to completely get used to the affinities and to completely forget how bad it was
mostly
before.
Because I haven't been playing, right?
Right.
Like I've probably only done like a total of maybe 6 or 7 days worth of playing with Stash Tab affinities because I keep leaving to play League of Legends instead.
Insane items. Yeah, I think it's a good moment to cut it off before things get out of hand and we pull another 3-hour podcast. So I want to first and foremost, of course, thank Ghazzy for coming out here on this rainy day and on little sleep apparently, or a long sleep. And yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out Ghazzy, Ghazzy is a prolific build maker and an avid full-time Path of Exile streamer, so you definitely should be familiar with his content. And thanks, Balor, for coming and putting this together with me. And yeah, if you don't know Balor, he has a website where he also does things like guides and so on. I heard that the content helps a lot of people. And yeah, as for myself, I'm Catmaster OP. You're on my channel, so if you leave a follow, you'll be able to catch my streams as well. But you should definitely go out of your way and click the links for Ghazzy and Balor that will drop in chat to leave them a follow as well. Catch them. And if you've not been able to catch the episode from the start, this will be uploaded in full onto BalorMage's YouTube. And we're also available on all podcast audio platforms, such as Spotify and Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts and all the things that, all the ones that are reasonable to use, I assume. We're currently trying to throw together an episode that will happen during Mayhem, leading up to Endless Delve, talking to some people who are better at Delve than we are in order to get maybe some advantageous hints.
Not a high bar.
Yeah, true. It's not really that hard. That's true. But it will be still hard to find people that will be available during Mayhem. But we'll see. Maybe we can convince people to join in the fun. I mean, it will still be before the Cyberpunk release. Actually, it will be on the day of the Cyberpunk release. We're currently looking at Thursday, basically the same time slot that we did today. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned for more updates. We'll be announcing that on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, probably on the YouTube channels. Yeah, thanks to the most important part of Path of Exile's, of our podcast, which is the Path of Exile community and the people in chat. Thanks for coming out to watch the podcast live here on twitch.tv/catmasterop and on the VOD on the various places. And have a wonderful Mayhem League start, everyone. And we'll see you for the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that's a wrap.
All right, we're done.